All right, we're back, True Seeker. We're going to talk about Steph Curry's return March 5th, 2020, against the Toronto Raptors. And this is a lot bigger than basketball, this video lesson. We're going to talk about things from JFK to Haile Selassie of Ethiopia. A lot of people believe he was Jesus Christ reincarnated. And we're going to talk about how all of these things are interconnected through the return of Steph Curry on March 5th, 2020. Might sound ridiculous until we all get through the presentation. So, this is the third video I'm doing for the channel Meg Truth because he continues to make videos slandering me, putting out false information, misleading his followers. And again, this video is really about Meg Truth's followers because if they're listening to what he's saying, they're going to miss a very valuable lesson, which is the lesson of letters and numbers, which is Gematria, which comes from Kabbalah, which is Jewish mysticism. And again, in Kabbalah it states God created the world with letters, numbers, and words. Kabbalah, you've heard that term, the Cabal, the secret political faction. This is how they operate every single day. The coronavirus, every headline, contrived by the numbers every single day. Federal elections, all propaganda by the numbers. Pretty much everything you see that comes through the mainstream, from federal government news to whatever other news to sports outcomes, it is all rigged by this code. You can prove it every single day. And the story goes that once upon a time after the Crusades, the Knights Templar secured this knowledge and brought it back to the Catholic Church. And it's very clear that the Catholic Church does everything by this code. And for the last 6 years, I've been showing how the NBA college basketball, it's synced up with the Catholic Church. It's synced up with the Jesuits. Pay attention to how many people in the NBA went to either Catholic or Jesuit high schools or universities. It's an overwhelming number. So we're going to talk about how Steph Curry's return is very Catholic and very synced up with the Catholic/Jesuit Pope Francis. Just like how we talked about when Kobe died. It was no accident that he was traveling from Catholic Mass, as it was reported in the media, and he died at age 41 on the Pope's 41st day of his age. Kobe Bryant equals 41. As I wrote in my book, Kobe's career was defined by the number 41. Ends up dying at age 41. So here's CNN's story. It's on again. You see how they emphasize that phrase, it's on again? Sums to 46, like the word Catholic is 46. And that number is important to the Catholics because their Bible is different than the other Bibles of the world. Their Bible has 46 books in the Old Testament. JFK, the only Catholic president, died at age 46. And just a quick gematria lesson. Again, 4 base ciphers. If you know these 4 ciphers, you can see through pretty much all of the mainstream riddles. JFK was the only Catholic president. He was number 35. This cipher right here is the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. It's considered the most pure cipher. So JFK was the 35th president. He was killed at age 46. Again, another Catholic number. And these 4 ciphers, they are all relevant. They are the alphabetic order. This is where Catholic is 71, A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, E is 5, up to Z, the 26 letters, 26. The next cipher is the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. You're still using the same order. Notice in this cipher, C is 3, A is 1, T is 20, right? Look at what happens in this cipher. C is 3, A is 1, but T is 2. That's because the numerology of 20 is 2 plus 0 is 2. You're just using numerology. It's very simple. You're making each letter a single-digit number. H is 8 in both ciphers. O in the numerology cipher, O is the 15th letter. The numerology of 15 is 1 plus 5 is 6. L is the 12th letter. The numerology of 12 is 1 plus 2 is 3. So those are the letters that are changed. Here you'll see O's 15, L's 12. Okay, the next cipher is the reverse alphabetic order. So Z is 1, back to A is 26, and the last cipher is the reverse alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. One of my favorite sports riddles with the Pope and the world of sports was a couple years ago. The head coach of Michigan equals 46, Harbaugh, he went to visit Pope Francis, and he did it just the day before the NFL draft. And his star player on Michigan that was supposed to be a first-round pick was the tight end. You know, think about tight end, men were in spandex. His tight end's name was Jake Butt. He was supposed to go in the first round, but he fell all the way to the 145th pick. That's a long way to fall. And see how Catholics 71 and 145? He fell to the Denver Broncos, who have that 71 connection. His coach visits the Pope. He's supposed to go number 1 overall. Or not number 1 overall, but he's supposed to go in the first round as the best tight end of the draft. But instead he falls all the way to 145 and goes to the Denver Broncos. And you can go back to ritual the other year that was used again with Jake Butt. He was pronounced out for the season with an injury on September 27th, which is the Jesuit order's birthday. And there were some other big rituals that day. What's-his-face that protested next to Colin Kaepernick? He was number 35. He got shipped off to the Black Panthers, the Carolina Panthers. Remember what we showed you, the season of Super Bowl 50 in October that year? We called the Super Bowl correctly. Who would be the MVP, why there'd be a Black Panther tribute, why the Broncos would win, paying tribute to Super Bowl 24. Everything correct. Everything correct. It's why USA Today wrote the article trying to make fun of me in January, the week before the Super Bowl. Anyhow, the point is you learn this knowledge, you really see through the rituals. You really understand the rituals, and it's bigger than sports. It's just like the Jesuits. They were officially formed September 27th, the day leaving 95 days left in the year. The Jesuits were formed to kill Martin Luther and his followers. And when I say that, people always get confused. They're like, Martin Luther King? No, Martin Luther, who Martin Luther King Jr. was named after. Martin Luther's who led the Protestant Reformation against the Catholics, and he also spoke against the you-know-whos, saying they are the synagogue of Satan. We need to get rid of this religion from the world. It's evil. So Martin Luther went after the people who make up your Supreme Court today. But anyway, Martin Luther King was killed on April 4th, 1968, the black civil rights leader. And the reason that matters is because April 4th, 1968, which was a leap year, was the 95th day of the year. Plus, it was a date with 95 numerology. The Jesuits were formed on the day leaving 95 days left in the year to kill Martin Luther, who wrote the 95 Thesis against the Catholic Church. Again, I'm telling you all of this so you understand these number games have been going on for centuries. So what's done yesterday with Steph Curry is one of a million examples, and we've documented a lot of them over the years doing this. We've been talking about the Catholic Church and the Jesuits in basketball for a long time. And if you're not aware, Steph Curry is one of the most outspoken athletes about, his faith and his Christian beliefs. So he's a good person for this ritual, as we'll get to. But again, it's on again. They didn't emphasize that by accident. It's a pure tribute to the Catholics because this is a Catholic ritual. Curry scored 23 points. Steph Curry. Steph returns and drops 23. In the most pure cipher, Steph's 23. It's a ritual. 83 is the 23rd prime number, and we're going to get to the importance of 83 in this ritual while the Pope's 83 years old and what 83 has to do with not Steph Curry, but the Jesuits themselves. Okay, so Steph drops 23 in his return. They point out that he missed 58 games. I'm always talking about the number 58. If you follow me on Patreon with the sports decoding, again, we are on a break right now from the daily decodes, but we're talking about Golden State and the Warriors and 58 all the time. We've been talking about it a million times in all the rivalry matches against Steph Curry and LeBron James, who's nicknamed King James. The real King James died at age 58. Steph Curry and LeBron James were both born in the same hospital in Akron, Ohio. Not by accident. These guys were born for their basketball thrones. And again, it's all coincidence programming, right? What are the odds of that? Oh, it's a coincidence that Steph Curry and LeBron, who meet in the finals 4 years in a row, were, born in the same hospital. Oh, it's a coincidence that Steph Curry returns against the Toronto Raptors, who he lost to in the finals last year. And oh, by the way, his dad played for the Raptors. And oh, by the way, his wife is from Toronto, Ayesha Curry. And oh, by the way, last year we showed you how every game of the finals was synced up with Ayesha Curry's birthday, how it was all structured around the Curry family. And of course, it was Steph Curry who the finals ended with. Last year we showed you why it was likely the Raptors would win in Game 6. And yes, I was wrong from the start of the season. I did have the Warriors pegged to win the finals last year when the season began. It was the 73rd NBA season. Steph Curry's born on the 73rd day of the year. I thought it was the year he was going to make his legacy as an NBA Finals MVP. But I did see where I was wrong during the finals, and I saw why it would make sense for the Raptors to win in Game 6, which they did. Anyway, the point is, at least we had the right team in the finals in the Western Conference from the start of the year, and at least we were able to pick what game the finals would end in, because it was all about Drake and Kawhi Leonard, and Drake calls Toronto the 6. Anyway, the point is, those last 5 NBA seasons, we dominated them overall. Some mistakes were made, but again, coming back to this number 58, we've been talking about it nonstop, especially in the years of Curry versus LeBron, because again, the real King James died at age 58. Freemasonry's 58, Rosicrucians 58, Secret Society's 58. The real King James was a Freemason and a Rosicrucian. He dropped dead unexpectedly at age 58. You got Meg Truth right now, who I'm giving a lesson to, telling his followers that there's no significance to 58. 58's a BS number. I'm teaching BS. There's nothing behind 58. Again, you are preaching false information, Meg Truth. You are making people ignorant. This number is used every single day in major rituals, from mass shootings to rigged sports games, because it's a number of the controllers. Again, read the book if you really want to understand what's behind these numbers. But in Steph Curry's case, Golden State's 58 as well. Oakland's 58. The Warriors did move from Oakland to San Francisco this year, by the numbers. Warriors has the Gematria 49 in the most pure cipher, but don't forget, there's a rule with the 19th letter. The 19th letter with the alphabetic order forwards is S. S, the 19th letter, is the only letter you have to reduce 2 times to get to a single digit in numerology. 19 is 1 plus 9 is 10. 10 is 1 plus 0 is 1. So if you make S1, Warriors is 49, which makes sense because so is Revelation, and the Warriors are originally from Philly, the city named from Revelation. It's another big number with them. But if you use that rule on S, 49 becomes 58. So Warriors has the 58 connection, Golden State 58, Oakland 58. Always a huge number with the Warriors. If you go through my blog and search, all the old posts, Warriors 58, you'll see about how many times we've written about this number. So it's not an accident that Steph Curry comes back 58 games later to mock everybody and face the team that he played in the finals, who his father played for once upon a time. And by the way, Del Curry equals 53, like religion, and this happened on March 5th, a date that can be written 3-5, like 35 for Catholic, or 5-3, like 53 for Del Curry. And I got to be honest, I didn't even take the time to decode his wife, and I should have done that because she's from Toronto. Maybe we can look at that at the end, but there's a lot to cover here. So just being extra thorough so people can understand everything. Okay. So he comes back from 58 games, and like I said, when he got hurt on October 30th, it was a fake injury. It was very clearly fake, just like Kevin Durant faked his injury last year in the finals. It's all fake. It's all script. It's all number code. It's all ritual. The reason the Raptors won last year is because it was their 24th season. Canada equals 24. A lot of people like to hold over my head that I said in 2017 a Canadian team would win the Stanley Cup to break the 24-year drought in Canada. Well, that didn't turn out to be correct, but, I still have the same trolls making fun of that. Well, don't make fun of the knowledge, because you could have used that same knowledge last year like we did to see why the Raptors were going to win the finals. Said, oh, it's their 24th season. Overlooked that. There's that big Canada number. And then what do you know? After the Raptors win the finals, in the following NBA draft, you have a record number of Canadians drafted into the NBA. It's all mockery. It's all script. And if you watch the NBA draft last year, for every player who had lost a parent, they had a jewel made for him to wear. Like this beaded jewel with the picture of the parent or both parents. Very creepy stuff. And they emphasize the word sacrifice so much. Again, these people that you see in the NBA, I'm not even sure that those people that they were saying were their parents were really their parents. Might just be a made-up backstory, a little narrative for them. Again, I'm pretty sure they're breeding all these players. There's not that many genetic strains in the world that breed men that are 6'6" and taller. The NBA's League of Giants, and a lot of these people never knew their parents, or their parents died when they were young, just like they emphasized last year in the draft. It's a lot deeper than what most people are thinking is going on in the world of sports. A lot of planning from the time these people are born. Again, like Steph Curry and LeBron James being born in the same hospital in Akron, Ohio. The same hospital that Nate Thurmond was born in, who played for the Warriors and for the Cavs. And he wore number 42 for both teams, like LeBron James is 42. Again, I'm pretty sure that Nate Thurmond is the real father of LeBron James. Nate Thurmond died 27 days after LeBron James scored 27 in Game 7, beating the Warriors on the real King James's birthday. And I'd been talking about for years before that why the Warriors and Cavs would play in the finals because of Nate Thurmond. So anyway, we were ahead of that before the Warriors and Cavs even met. After they split the first two series, Nate Thurmond dies 27 days after LeBron scores 27 books in the New Testament. King James, who has the Bible named after him, biblical Catholic Church. Okay. The other thing to know about 58 is, again, Freemasonry equals 58. It also equals 139. We talked about how when Steph Curry supposedly broke his hand, it was 139 days after the finals concluded. So it was synced with the finals, the hoax, and now he comes back and faces the team that he played in the finals. It just validates what I said on October 30th when this news broke, that it was a ritual at the finals, it was a hoax. He's come back 127 days after his fake injury. What 127 is the 31st prime number. And Curry in the most pure cipher is 31. 31. It's also 85 in this cipher. Remember, basketball's 85 in that cipher. The first March Madness tournament was in 1985. Last year I told you on February 8th why it would be either Virginia or Duke to win the college championship. On February 8th, I said it'd be one of those two teams, and it was all about 85. Before the tournament began, if you were on Patreon, we showed why Virginia looked like the team, and it was better that they were because they paid out a lot better than Duke. Virginia goes on to win the championship with 85 points. And the other number we called out that day on February 8th was the whole story was through Justin Fairfax. Justin Fairfax, 59 and 85. The story came out about Justin Fairfax, the lieutenant governor of Virginia, raping a woman at Duke. The story came out 59 days before the championship, and it came out the day before Virginia and Duke played each other. And I said, look at that. This whole story is synced with college basketball. It's 59 days before the championship. Go back and look at the box score last year for Virginia when they won the championship. They scored 85 points, and they took 59 shots. And don't ask me how they pull it off, but they do it year after year. The more time goes on and the more I witness it, the more I do think there's some sort of, like hocus pocus, black magic type of thing going on. Because I don't know how else to explain it, especially the way Virginia won in the Elite Eight last year, because it looked like they should have lost that game. It was like a miracle that they won it. But anyway, Curry comes back 127 days after the injury, the 31st prime, Curry 31. The score of last night's game, 121 to 113. How often do I talk about these numbers with the Warriors and the National Basketball Association? I mean, a million times, you guys. Warriors is 121. So is Revelation. Again, the Warriors are originally from Philly, which gets its name from Revelation. They always do huge rituals with the Warriors each year and the Philadelphia 76ers. Always. Just like how Kobe, who's from Philly, after he supposedly died, they had the big tribute for him at the Warriors in Philadelphia game. And don't forget that Kobe's father was drafted by the Warriors. He was drafted in 75. Kobe retired 41 years later in the massive 41 ritual that was that game. He scored 60. The rest of his team scored 41. He came off the court with 4.1 seconds. Kobe Bryant, 41. Golden State's also 41, just for the record. Again, this is why you got to know the ciphers, forwards and backwards. Don't forget, before the Warriors played their first game in San Francisco this year, you can go back and watch. Well, actually, the channel got deleted, so you can't. But people know who saw the video. Mark Hurd, the CEO of our Oracle, died 4 days before the season began on October 22nd. Mark Hurd, the Warriors used to play in Oracle Arena. And I pointed out that day, I was in a parking lot. I wasn't even able to sit in a computer. I was just reading off the news off the screen, waiting in the parking lot while a sweet lady was at the doctor's office. And I said, just watch. Warriors are going to San Francisco. I said, watch them drop 122 points in their first game this year in San Francisco. And sure enough, they did. San Francisco's on the 122nd meridian. Again, it's all perfect script. Over the years, I think in that same video, I said if I'm wrong about 122, it'll probably be 121, but 122 makes more sense. San Francisco returning to that city. But again, it's always the same numbers with this team. It's just so redundant. It's like, oh my God, again. So Raptors beat the Warriors last night with 121. Warriors go down with 113. The National Basketball Association 113. 113 is the 30th prime. Curry wears number 30. His name's Stephen is also 30. So it's all tribute, you know? It's all tribute. It's all ritual. And go back to, I think it was the third time the Warriors and Cavs played each other in the finals. Losing track of what year that would have been. I think that's 2017. I know that the first three games, either the winner or the loser, the first three games had 113 points. And if you watched the fourth game, I believe it was the losing team that was on 113 points. But at the very end, one of the players went down and scored like a basket with no defender on him just to take it off 113. The game was already over. It was like, I forget what the margin was, 8 points or something. But they nearly had 4 games in a row where the game finished with 113. And maybe they would have done it again. But that was at the time where like my channel it hadn't been deleted yet. Nick Wright on Fox Sports was constantly tweeting about me, talking about what a psychopath I was, telling people like, look at this crazy person on YouTube saying sports are rigged. If you don't know who Nick Wright is, he's half you-know-who, and his face looks just like a rat. He's actually climbed up in the world on Fox Sports. But he used to be blasting me on Twitter constantly. Because we're exposing this crap. So, Anyway, they tell you that Curry came out to warm up yesterday, and from the logo, you know, in the middle of the court, he took 5 shots and made all 5 on what day? The 5th day of the month. 5 in a row, right? Basketball, a game of 5-on-5. He's back from his broken hand. By the way, the word broken is 65, and he came back on the 65th day of the year. But here's what it really is. The NBA Finals last year concluded on June 13th, right? Drake calls Toronto the 6. It concluded in Game 6 in the 6th month on the 13th day. 13 is the 6th prime number. Today here in Washington State, our local news is that the 13th person died today on March 6th. On the 6th day, we get the 13th death in Washington State from coronavirus. Again, 13 is the 6th prime. But something we pointed out last year that looked good for Toronto to win in Game 6 is their motto. We the North, which is 136. So June 13th. The majority of the world writes that date 13/6. The team with the We the North motto wins on 13-6. Again, it was the Canadians team's 24th season. Canada's 24. And then the numerology of 24 is 6, and then 6 Canadians were drafted into the NBA, a record amount. See the mockery? Drake, the 6. But anyway, from the day the finals concluded to Steph Curry's return was 266 days. And again, he's facing the Toronto Raptors, who he lost to in the finals. Now remember, Pope Francis is the 266th Pope, right? There's a prophecy about this Pope. Supposedly he's supposed to be the last Pope according to St. Malachi. We'll see if that's true. But the Jesuit motto, IHS, those letters, IHS, in Latin, the phrase, which means Jesus is the Savior of mankind, but the Latin words equal 266 and 122. And notice Pope Francis is 122, San Francisco's 122. San Francisco's named after Saint Francis of Assisi, just like Pope Francis is, so they're related. And Golden State's 122. Again, this is the first year that they played in San Francisco in a while. They went from Philly to San Francisco to Oakland. Now they're back in San Francisco for this year. They scored 122 points their first game this year after the death of Mark Hurd, 122, the CEO of Oracle, the old stadium name. And I told you, that day before the Warriors played, I said, just look for them to score 122 in their first game. Sure enough, they did. Golden State 122. And by the way, we've called a lot of Warriors scores correctly over the years. They are just one of the most predictable teams. Just go back over the years. 122 points on January 22nd. It's just a joke when you watch Warriors scores. It's just such mockery. It's like how when Kobe Bryant in his 666th career game, 666, he scored 81 points. The rest of his team scored 41 for 122 combined points on January 22nd. And was that game against the Raptors? Hold on. Kobe Bryant, 81-point game. And again, Meg Truth, since you're saying that, not all numbers are a code, you're wrong. The numbers are the language to these people. Kobe Bryant's 41. Kobe Bean Bryant is 81. Dead in the 243rd year of the United States. Dead the day after LeBron James scored the 54th point to pass Kobe in his hometown in Philly on a court that has a black snake on it when, Kobe's the Black Mamba. And then LeBron gets his 24th tattoo on his body of a Black Mamba. Kobe finished his career with number 24. Kobe Bean Bryant, 135, like the Philadelphia establishment date numerology. Like how he died 135 days from Kanye West's birthday, who's in the Black Mamba predictive programming with the helicopter exploding. Look up the Black Mamba logo. Look at it. Look at the center of the Black Mamba logo. It's a helicopter. It's the front of the helicopter. I'll just show you real quick. Black Mamba logo. You have the... Hold on. This is the front of the helicopter right here. Hold on, I need to find a better one. There's some that have the tail thing in it. Hold on. This isn't the best one. Where's the one I showed the other day? Well, this isn't as clear. There's different editions of this logo. There's one where it shows the little tail section in the end back here. And so it's like the front of the helicopter, the back with the propeller, and then the blades across the top. I'll have to look that up another time. I know I got it on the post. Or here, hold on. I think I got it on my blog. Black Mamba logo. Here we go. So this is another version of his logo that's been put out there. You can see front of the chopper, the tail section, the back propeller area, and then, the chopper blades up here. And again, you have the Chamberlain Heights predictive programming. You have the Black Mamba film predictive programming. And remember, Wilt Chamberlain died before the 54th NBA season that Kobe Bryant won. From the day that Wilt Chamberlain died to the day that Kobe won the finals was 251 days later, which is the 54th prime number. LeBron passed Kobe on January 25th, 25/1, like 251, the 54th prime. I put out the video before LeBron passed Kobe, and I said that's the reason he's passing on this day, because of the 251-54 relationship. Lo and behold, LeBron passed, scoring the 54th points. Kyrie Irving, LeBron's old teammate, comes out and scores 54 points and says they're for Kobe. And don't forget Jerry West, who's the logo of the NBA. He's 81 years old right now. Kobe died 243 days after his birthday. And again, the story came up that they might change the logo of the NBA from Jerry West to Kobe Bryant, who died 243 days after Jerry West's 81st birthday. And then there's even more, Again, you got Meg Truth out there telling people that these numbers don't mean anything. The only numbers that matter are 33 and 666. That's just ignorance. These numbers are all language. Kobe Bryant, 113, like Michael Jordan, like the National Basketball Association, a number that's used ritualistically all the time in NBA. Just like Steph Curry returns and his team loses with 113 points. Again, the 30th prime, like he wears number 30. The month before Kobe died, he was in the news for being involved in a car accident and directing traffic. That story was from his 113th day of his age. It related to an accident. He dies the next month in an accident. He's dead at 41. And remember all the 41s we covered. There's a million in his death. Dead at 41, number that defined his career. He died on his 157th day of his age. There's a million other 157s coded into the ritual. Again, go back and see the past work. And dead the day after King James passes him. Like how the real King James died at age 58. And go watch the video that I put out the day before Kobe died. I reminded people how the games are scripted and they kill people for these rituals. Just like how in that video I explained how they killed Moses Malone at age 60, which was perfectly scripted with Kobe's last game where he scored 60. Moses Malone, who was drafted by Utah, who Kobe finished his career against, out of high school was Moses Malone drafted just like Kobe. Don't forget Kobe was round 1, 13th overall pick. He made his debut on November 3rd in the NBA, 113. But Moses Malone's death was 213 days before Kobe finished his career, of course playing in the 213 area code. And notice the name Moses Malone, 41-58, just like Kobe Bryant. And don't forget Daryl Dawkins died at age 58, another Philadelphia basketball star like Moses Malone. He died at 58 just days before Moses Malone. Daryl Dawkins, Moses Malone, Philadelphia basketball stars like Kobe, both killed for his final season. And you got Meg Truth telling his followers that 58 doesn't mean anything. Now we're talking about Steph Curry coming back after 58 games. The reason that ego and pride destroys the world is because of people like Meg Truth. He's probably jealous, and because he's jealous, he has to try to tear down, what he didn't do. Meg Truth's whole goal is to be considered the best truther on YouTube. He says that all the time. I'm the best. That's why they take me down the most. I don't know. Has he been taken down 19 times? I've had 19 channels removed. And when Meg Truth talks, I don't want to be the pot calling the kettle black. You guys know I have a mouth on me, but it only comes out sometimes. Meg Truth, every video, he's getting filthy. Just calling everybody names, calling everybody a tranny, a sodomite. I don't think anything should be censored, but I can kind of see why accusing everybody of being, what they aren't. I can kind of see why that might get taken down. Because, that's all really Meg Truth does, right? Just, he has his opinion. Everyone's transgender. I'm pretty sure his next response video to me will be calling me a tranny he's been calling me a sodomite, which isn't true. But, it's all ego over there. He thinks that spouting off his ignorance and opinion is the ultimate truth. So, if you want to follow that, that's up to you, but it's really not anything. But to come and try to diss my work and tell people that this is all nonsense and bullshit, now you're really doing a disservice. You're really doing a disservice with that one. Okay, so getting back to the presentation, because we got so much more to talk about. Again, we're just reminded about all the 122s, the Jesuits, the ritual with Curry coming back 266 days after the finals. I'm going to have to look into the Catholic history. Oh, I need to look into the Catholic history of Toronto, but I also meant to look up if Kobe's game, there it is. Kobe's 81-point game was against the Raptors. It was against the Raptors. It was on January 22nd over the Toronto Raptors. Where? And it was right behind Wilt Chamberlain, right? Like the predictive programming. So it's about points, Chamberlain Heights predictive programming. LeBron passes Kobe in points in Philadelphia, Kobe's hometown. And then the next day, Kobe dies. The all-time points leader in the NBA played for the Lakers and Bucks. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Abdul-Jabbar equals 74. It's the 74th NBA season. We'll be getting to how Steph Curry's birthday is on the 74th day of the year this year because it's a leap year. But, okay. So, yeah, I just wanted to verify that it was against the Raptors. And you know what? I just thought about something else. Raptors is 35-46 as well. You see how it's 82 as well? Bryant is 82. Okay, so again, we started with the 35-46, right? Catholic is 35-46. This game was on March 5th. March 5th, 3-5. Catholic rituals. Kobe Bryant traveling from Catholic Mass before he died. Okay. And Toronto's that 3-6 city. In 666, the 36th triangular number. Toronto Raptors is also 82. I was tripping. Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff here. So Toronto Raptors and Raptors are both 82. Like Bryant's 82. Like 82 game season in the NBA. The word game is 82. But Toronto Raptors, notice it's also 71, like Catholic. And I actually see one other thing in there. You see the 224? Well, it kind of reminds me of the Kobe Bryant Memorial Day, right? Gianna number 2, Bryant finishes his career with 24. But remember, there's a mathematical relationship with the number 84. Again, you want to learn about numbers? On Gematria.com, if you go up to Tools and Number Properties, you can type in a number and then click Get Properties. See where it says divisors? It'll show you all the numbers that divide into 84, and it'll show you what they add up to in the sum, 224. So, again, that relationship with 84. Jesuit is 84. So, I see now all this Catholic Jesuit ritual, which we're talking about, why it makes so much sense to do it against Toronto. So that's also no doubt part of the reason they coded this up here. It's on again. Again, playing the team that his daddy played for, that his wife's from Toronto. I forgot a big piece in the. You know why I forgot it, you guys? Because I'm a little bit rusty. Because normally I'm decoding sports every day, but again I've taken a break on that to work on the book that should be finished. But again, I'm behind. This is how I roll. And you guys know why I'm behind. It's because I'm here doing blog posts and videos all day. But again, if I'm not here doing blog posts and videos all day, new people aren't finding this work. In the year prior, in 2019, not enough new people found this work because almost all day I was on Patreon just working for paid subscribers. So right now I'm trying to bring more people into this. And two of my best students, Rod and Victor, who I posted their links up at the top of my Patreon page last night, you can get them. I passed on the torch to them for now. They're doing the daily sports decoding. They're grinding right now, figuring out the games. They're going to do their presentation, show their followers who they think's winning today. And they learned from me, so, and I vouch for them because, they put in a lot of work every single day. So, anyway. Talking about all these 122s, right? Look at Steph Curry's full name. Wardell Stephen Curry II. Because, of course, his father, Del Curry, he's Wardell Stephen Curry I. But look at his full name, 122. You think it's an accident that this guy ends up playing on San Francisco? Or, excuse me, not San Francisco, but Golden State, 122, the team that scores 122 points all the time? Understand, when I first started doing this research, I caught onto the Warriors 122 thing real fast, but back then I didn't know reverse gematria. I did not know reverse gematria, so I did not see this. And because I studied this for over 3 years with just the alphabetic order and the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, as I learned about it in the secret teachings of all ages, again, they don't give you anything with that. They just tell you there's these ciphers, they're being used, it's related to masonry, it's an occult secret, but they give it to you and they say, go out and Manly P. Hall, who wrote the book, says, go out and test it, go out and see what you find. And I did that, and I found way more than I thought I would ever find. But then, years later, we realized that if you just flip the alphabetic order in reverse and do the same thing, there's a whole gold mine of information there as well. And because I'd been studying those two ciphers for so long, I knew right away when I saw things like this, I was like, oh my God, this is the other half of the code. I mean, how can you deny this? So like the first 3 years, I didn't know this about the Jesuit motto, right? I knew about Pope Francis being the 266th Pope. I knew about Pope Francis 122. Pope Francis is the first publicly Jesuit Pope. How big of a coincidence would this have to be for to line up this way? That the Jesuit motto in Latin sums 266 and 122, like Pope Francis, the 266th Pope. Again, that's why people who've come here who haven't been around the whole time, they're like, I don't know, you're using 4 ciphers, maybe just everything can line up that way. No, it's not the way it works. And no, we haven't been using 4 ciphers the whole time. We figured out that this was the other half of the code, through a lot of observation, through a lot of research, through a lot of documentation, through a lot of correct predictions. Again, if you guys see a troll saying predict something and all you can list is 1 or 2 things that I've ever predicted, don't even respond. That just embarrasses me. It's just an embarrassment. Shows me that you suffer from amnesia. You should have been able to remember more than 2 correct predictions probably from the last week of videos I put out. We hit stuff all the time. Okay. So anyhow, Curry, he's going to turn 32 very soon. He's 31 years old right now, like Curry's 31, coming back for this big ritual. Again, 127 days after his fake injury, the 31st prime. Now, with regards to the 58 games he missed, again, we're talking about all this stuff with Pope Francis, right? Notice Pope Francis is also 58. Pope Francis is 58. And again, the return on 3-5, Catholic 35, Raptors 35. King James is 35. Just like I told you, this was going to be a special year. 35 right now. All this stuff's related. It's a web of rituals. Again, the date can be also written 5/3 or 3/5. Curry made his return on March 5th. His father's name, Del Curry, is 53, who played for the Raptors. From the Pope's birthday to Steph Curry's return is 79 days, right? And the Pope's 83 years old. Pope's 83. Curry comes back 79 days after his birthday. Remember the 11 weeks and 2 days as well. Remember that one also. But 79 days, that's the 22nd prime number. Basketball is 22 in the most pure cipher. If you go back and watch the video that I put out, January 1st, 2020, about the death of David Stern. January 1st, 2020 had 22 date numerology. David's 22. Stern is 22. Basketball's 22. Go back and watch the video. I said this is all about the upcoming planned return of Zion Williamson. And I said just watch. When Zion returns, it will be synced up with this death, and you'll just see. So what day does Zion Williamson make his debut? On the 22nd of January. 122, right? 122. Satanic 122. The synagogue of Satan controls the NBA. That's why they had the Zion Williamson sweepstakes May 14th, 2019, which was the 71-year anniversary of the establishment of the nation for the synagogue of Satan, which is Israel. Israel is the home of the false Jews. Real Jews know this. There's plenty of Jews who speak against Israel and point out that it is the home of the false Jews because Jews are forbidden to have their own home until the Jewish Messiah returns. So Israel is not to exist. It was brought to you by the Rothschilds, by the numbers. Look up the Balfour Declaration. Drafted on November 2nd, 11/2. Judaism 112, Zionist 112. Anyway, Zion makes his debut on January 22nd, the 22nd day of the year. How many points does he score? 22. He scored 17 straight in the fourth quarter. Zion 17. The Pelicans, when he returned, were 17-27. They'd played 44 games. Notice Zion's 44. Like how LeBron and the Lakers picked up their 44th win of the season facing Zion in the first game. Look up Theodore Herzl, whose death had everything to do with 44. He's the founder of Zionism. Rituals, numbers. If you watched ESPN on May 13th and 14th, those 2 days, the draft lottery for Zion Williamson on the anniversary of the establishment of Zionist Israel, which was May 14th, 1948, the Zion ritual was 71 years later. Talmud equals 71. That's the book of the Zionists. If you watched ESPN on May 13th and May 14th, they had Jewish rabbis on ESPN all day from all cities praying for Zion. That was the hashtag on Twitter that day. Pray for Zion. And I got to admit, I was wrong. I was wrong because I told my people at the start of, not this NBA season, but last NBA season, early in the season, I said, watch, the Knicks will finish with 17 wins this year, which they did. The Knicks finished with 17 wins last year. And we were able to clean up at the end of the year because the Knicks won some big upsets at the end of the year to get to those 17 wins. But I said, watch, the Knicks will win 17 games and they'll get Zion. And the reason why I said that was because Duke with Zion had played a game against Texas Tech in Madison Square Garden, and it was all synced up with the draft. And New York's won 11, and Zion Lateef Williamson's won 11, and Blue Devils has won 11. Well, I wasn't totally off. Obviously, Zion didn't go to the Knicks, but who did? His teammate, Behrendt. So I just saw how that Duke game was synced up with the championship, and it just made so much sense for Zion to go there. I do imagine Zion is going to end up back in New York. I still think he's going to end up playing for the Knicks at some point, and he'll bring winning back to that city for basketball. I think that's what they're going to do. So with regards to him being, the story this year, look at this. Zion Williamson is 191. You see that? 191. Society of Jesus is 191 in the same cipher. That's the 43rd prime. Jesus Christ is 43. Excuse me. I drank a whole bunch of orange juice. I got got some acid reflux or whatever. But anyway, 191 is the 43rd prime. 43 is the 14th prime. Remember, the New Testament begins with the 42 generations to Jesus that are divided into 14 sections. New Testament equals 42, so does Savior, so does sin. Math equals 42. The 42 generations to Jesus at the very start of the New Testament, where the first book is Matthew. Zion Williamson's also 74, like Jewish, like Jesus, like cross, like Messiah, like gospel, like parables. It's the 74th NBA season. Kobe 33. Kobe gets crucified in the 74th season, born in the 74th year of the Boule. Society of Jesus is 187 and 191, same ciphers. Zion's birthday is July 6th, which is... I just realized I missed something else huge too. We'll go back to it. Anyway, Zion's birthday is July 6th, the 187th day of the year. And just notice, Zion Williamson and Society of Jesus are the exact same in 3 out of the 4 ciphers. Can you see that? 3 of the 4, the exact same. And what was I just saying about from the Pope's birthday to Steph Curry's return? 79 days. The true name of Jesus is Yeshua, which is 79. So just realize, Zion Williamson, I hate when trolls come by and say, what are you saying, that Zion was born for all this? It's yeah, I'm showing you. How else is any of this possible? What do you think, it's a coincidence that he comes in this 74th season? Again, people just aren't thinking. They're just looking for a reason to dismiss everything. Where do all these giants come from? How many of us... Okay, here's a good example. How many of us, just in our entire upbringing, are around any type of giant? Like in our education, our workplace? I've known two really big men in my lifetime that I was around. One of them I went to high school with. His name was Michael Roos. He was a great basketball player. In college at Eastern Washington, they turned him into a tight end, then a tackle. He went on to play in the NFL and record several multi-million-dollar contracts playing left tackle for the Tennessee Titans. Michael Roos went to high school in Vancouver, Washington, just like me. He was a big guy. Went on to be a sports athlete, a superstar in the NFL. I mean, left tackles don't get a lot of attention, but he was in the league for a decade and signed some major contracts. Very big man. And let me tell you, he wasn't like a normal human being. He was from Estonia. He had a big brother, too. I think his brother went and played hoops in Europe, if I'm not mistaken. That was his older brother. But both of these guys were from Estonia, and they were just like... they weren't like anybody else. They came to school every day in white polo t-shirts and khakis every single day. They hardly talked. They were super friendly. They were super polite. I just started to think back and I'm like, God, were these like some of the lab experiment athletes that were just like inserted in our high school? Because you just look back and you're like, nobody else was like him. A giant who wore a white polo shirt and khakis every day, just smiled at everybody. The guy was like a human robot and a great athlete. And then the other good athlete that went to our school, who wasn't a giant, but his dad played for the Lakers, and he went on to dominate basketball at Gonzaga, Derek Ravio. Go back and look at his game against North Carolina in Madison Square Garden, lit him up. And, when I say sports are rigged and they're using technology, I mean all that. But a lot of these guys are very talented. I played a lot of basketball against Derek Ravio. And the thing was, he was a skinny kid who couldn't play defense at all, so you could take him to the hoop all day. But that kid did not miss. And he dribbled 2 basketballs. If he wasn't in school doing homework, he was dribbling 2 basketballs and shooting basketballs with his left and right hand all day. That's what he did. I grew up around him too. Well, that's once I moved. I grew up in a different neighborhood. When I moved, I was around these people. But anyway, the point is, the people that we see in these leagues, they're not like you and I. Derek Ravio's not like you and I. His dad played for the Lakers. Okay? The other kids from Estonia that I'm talking about, the Roos brothers, I don't even know where they really were from, but they weren't like any other human beings I ever knew. The point is, these people we see in the leagues, they are not like us. So yeah, from the Pope's birthday, who's the first publicly Jesuit Pope, the Society of Jesus, to Mr. Jesus Steph Curry, 79 days from his birthday to his return. Okay. Is there any other points I need to make here? Oh yeah, I need to make one more point about Zion Williamson. You see the 79 here? Watch this. Pelicans is 79. You see that? And New Orleans Pelicans is 79. So it makes sense that Zion is in New Orleans. And don't forget that they call NOLA, or New Orleans NOLA. NOLA's 42, the numbers they stamp all over Black history. When David Stern died, it was a date with 22 numerology. It was also a date with 42 numerology, January 1st, 2020. He became the commissioner at age 42, and he was born in 1942. It's a big Freemason number too, but it's also the number stamped all over Black history. If you missed the video while I was down in New Orleans earlier this year, educating people about the murders in their community for their rigged championship, where LSU won in NOLA with 42 points, and 4 days before the game, the rapper Fifth Ward Weeby died at age 42, 42 days from his birthday. Plus everything else I went down there to educate about. While I was down there, I was walking the streets of New Orleans. I was walking from my hotel to the French Quarter, and there's one church along that route. And right on the plaque on the outside of the church, it says that the church began allowing blacks in 1842. And I was like, oh my God. And then they talk about how this black person was baptized there on April 2nd. I was like, look at that, man. Blacks allowed in 1842. And then, the baptism on 4/2, it's just right there on the plaque on the church. And again, that is a big number with Christianity. New Testament's 42. Again, Savior's 42. Sin's 42. The 42 generations to Jesus. Jesus who has hair of wool. Hey, Meg, if you're out there quietly listening, people have told me that you're not a real Jamaican. You're an imposter. But if you have Sirius XM, The black music starts on channel number 42, and it's the reggae station. You should read my book, which I offered you a free copy of. Just give me your email address. Send me an email at gematriaeffectnews@gmail.com, and I'll send you a free copy of the book. But anyway, a lot of black entertainers have been killed by this number, and including a lot of reggae musicians. Peter Tosh, prime example. Okay, so again, 79 days from the Pope's birthday to Steph Curry, Mr. Jesus' return. And again, Society of Jesus is 79. The real name of Jesus, Yeshua, is 79. If you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Yeshua is 83. Pope Francis is 83 right now. The Jesuit motto, when translated to English, Jesus, Savior of mankind, is 83, right? 83. And Haile Selassie, who a lot of people believed was Jesus Christ returned to the earth, a lot of Rastafarians believe this. His name is 83. He was of the Solomonic dynasty, which is 83. Again, Jesus Christ, if you use the rule for the 19th letter in reverse, which is H. Let me just show you real quick. Well, here, I'll just do it here. So if you type in Jesus Christ, again, remember, just with the alphabetic order, Jesus is 74, Gospels 74, Parables is 74, Messiah is 74, etc., etc. If you write out Jesus Christ, it's 74, but there's a rule for the 19th letter, forwards and backwards. Again, it can be 10 or 1. H is the 19th letter in reverse. So if you use that rule, Jesus Christ is 83. And again, this man who a lot of people believed was Jesus Christ returned, 83. And he died at age 83. And he was an Ethiopian, and Ethiopia is 83. Murder's also 83. It's very possible that he was offed that day. The day he died, August 27th, 1975, it was a date with 39 numerology. Rastafari's 39, Bob Marley's 39. You know, Marley's music was very spiritual, a lot of music about, you know, his beliefs, Jesus. Marley's got that 74 connection as well. Another big Jesus number. And by the way, Bob Marley began his solo career in 1974 after, you know, he was persuaded to do so out of London. Remember, London's 74. Remember, English is 74, just using the alphabetic order. Gematria is 74. Whoops. Masonic 74. Occult 74. So again, this is a very special number, 74. It's coded into, you know, Christianity through the name Jesus, which obviously wasn't his real name. And coded into a lot of things. And again, Kobe, 33. Jesus on the cross at 33. Jesus in the Bible is described as having hair white like wool. And everybody gets so mad. They're like, it just means white. It doesn't have anything to do with the wool part. It's just that his hair was white when he returned in Revelation. I disagree with that. If they're going to say that Jesus' hair was white like wool and describe his skin as bronze, which is often a way to describe the skin tone of people who we call black, I mean, to me, these are signs that Jesus was definitely not the white person he's presented as in most churches. The only people I know that have hair like wool are black people. And to say that Jesus' hair was white when he returned in Revelation, they could have said that in a million different ways without saying like wool, which is what's in the verse. So, anyway. The day he died on, the 239th day of the year, remember that's the 52nd prime. This is the same day Houston flooded on in 2017. Big flood, big number from the Bible here. But also connects to Ethiopia, Jamaica. And again, this is the man who's worshipped as Jesus returned to Rastafarians in Jamaica. The man from Ethiopia. So I'm pretty sure that Haile Selassie was murdered at this age. I'm pretty sure he didn't go out naturally on this day. It's following during a coup, so I mean, it all makes sense. But you can understand why it happened on this day. So, again, this is the power of Gematria. It allows you to see what's been taking place in the world. Why the coup on that day? Why at that age? And my guess is the same people who are responsible for this ritual with Steph Curry are the same people responsible for that ritual. Because, again, the center of the cabal is the Catholic Church. And they got all sorts of minions who work for them, including the you-know-whos. And at the end of the day, I'm not sure if it could even be the you-know-whos who run the Catholic Church. But whatever, they're all up at the top of this pyramid power structure. So, coming back, since we're covering so many things, again, 79 days after Pope Francis's birthday, in the big Society of Jesus return ritual of Steph Curry, we also have 11 weeks and 2 days. 11 weeks and 2 days. Big number. 112 is what's key there. The Jesuits operate in 112 nations. Catholicism is 112. And remember, there is the prophecy of the popes from St. Malachi. He predicted that the 266th pope would be the last pope, who's Francis. And his prediction was 112 popes from when the current pope was at that time, which is what arrives at the 266th pope. So his prediction was about 112 popes later, which again is Pope Francis. There's this book if you want to read it. I personally haven't read it. I feel like I already know it. Well, I was about to make an ignorant statement. I was going to say, I feel like I already know enough about it, but there's always more to know. So if this is something that interests you, there is a book out there that you can read about with St. Malachi's prediction and why. I'm sure if I read the book, I would learn a whole bunch that's important. Again, I have to be honest, you guys, part of what I hate about what I do right now is I don't have time to read anymore. I have read so little in the time I've been doing this research, and the reason why is because I'm doing research all the time, and I'm presenting the information all the time, and it leaves very little time to do anything else. So I miss reading. I would love to be able to take a year off and just read for another year. I'm sure, you know what, I honestly think that would be really helpful for me. If I could just take time off from doing what I'm doing and just pass on the torch to somebody else and just read about things that, I've learned more about. I would also like to it would take more than a year. I would like to go through the entire Bible again and just, I'm sure there's so many gems in the Bible that we've already picked up on a lot of them, but I'm just sure there's so many more that need to be uncovered. I have no doubt that the Bible as we know it is just laced with this code. Again, it just starts right in the beginning. Genesis 3:2-2, the 78th verse of Genesis. Genesis is 78. Jesuits 78. And if you take in the New International Version and the King James Version, you know what? I'll just show you real quick if you've never seen me do this before. Genesis 3:2-2, which is a reference to Kabbalah. It's about the tree of life, good and evil. We'll do that New International Version and the King James Version. So Genesis 3:2-2, the New International Version, which I prefer, because I can't stand the King James Version. It's like, people think this is the official version from a king that's written like Shakespeare? I mean, give me a break. Anyway, it says, "And the Lord God said, the man has now become like one of us, knowing good and evil. He must not be allowed to reach out his hand and take also from the tree of life and eat and live forever." What if they reach out, take fruit? Okay, that's something somebody else added on. So anyway, if you take this part of the verse up to good and evil, again, remember, the tree of life, there is a good side, which is about understanding. Again, Kabbalah is not all bad. Kabbalah is not all bad. It's a spiritual tool to understand the world you live in, your place in it, how to spiritually ascend. But there's a dark half of the tree of life. It's called the Qliphoth, and it's about casting spells and hurting people. Qliphoth also equals 666, by the way, the number of the beast. But look at this. This verse. Hold on, let me just get back to our base ciphers here. This cipher equals 322, or the part up to good and evil is 322, right? And it's Genesis 3:2:2. Skull and Bones identifies by this number. I'll show you something else about 3:2:2 in a second, but first let me just give you the King James Version, which is worded differently. So the King James Version. The King James Version reads like this: "And the Lord God said, behold, the man has become as one of us, to know good and evil." So different wording. But, watch this. Same result. See? So it's different in this cipher, it's different in this cipher, it's different in this cipher, but in the reverse reduction, it's still 322. Genesis 322. And don't forget, Abrahamic. The Abrahamic religions are Judaism, Christianity, Islam. They're all based out of the Torah. They all share the first 5 books of the Bible. And by the way, the 4th book is called Numbers. Think about that. But Abrahamic is 187, right? And that matters because there are 187 chapters in the Torah. And again, these 187 chapters are what Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are all based out of. And remember, Society of Jesus has that 187 number. Very special number. Donald Trump went to Fordham University Jesuit School from his birthday each year to Pope Francis's birthday each year is 187 days. He did a ritual with the Pope on May 24th by the numbers in 2017, right after he visited Jerusalem. Reminded me of like how the Knights Templar went from Jerusalem back to the Catholic Church with the code. Anyway, Abrahamic religions, notice what it equals. 322. 322. And Kabbalah has been adopted into all of the religions. Again, Jewish mysticism, it's used within Islam, it's used within Christianity. And Kabbalah is part of the ancient mystery religions, which is also 322. The ancient mystery religions include Kabbalah, Hermeticism, alchemy, Kundalini. There might be something else in there, because again, a lot of this stuff's secret, but those things are all super important to Masonry and, you know, the Jesuits and the people who rule over us. So it does seem to me that, well, maybe this is a false statement. I was going to say, if you have to say that one of these knowledges is the most important, from my perspective, from what I know, it does seem like it's Kabbalah. Again, the Kabbalah, the fact that they do this every day with the letters and numbers and the dates. But it's all related. It's like they wouldn't do this letters and numbers stuff if the other things weren't a part of it. Because again, Hermeticism says that every number, every letter, every sound, every color, everything carries a vibration. And when you know how to harness these vibrations, you can control the world around you. So that's why they're doing this. It's like they understand the knowledge fully. I don't anywhere near understand the knowledge fully. I see how they use it. I expose how they use it. But I couldn't tell you for certain, you know, what vibration is 322 carrying. I would have to assume it's not a good one, the way they do things. But, again, there's a reason for all of this is the point. And again, this video is a lesson for Meg Truth and all of his followers because right now he's telling people all falsehoods. He's lying about everything. Literally, I've taken the time to watch it and I'm like, God, everything he says is a lie. Everything is false. He has to know he's lying too. So it's a damn shame. But anyway, again, we're connecting Steph Curry's return, Pope Francis, the Society of Jesus. Why are they doing this year? And again, Steph Curry's birthday, March 14th. Normally that's the 73rd day of the year. This year it's the 74th day of the year. 74. It's the 74th NBA season. It's obviously a very symbolic season, right? Death of one of the biggest stars ever in the league at a very young age, Kobe Bryant. Zion Williamson. Again, I just got to do it one more time in case you forgot. With the alphabetic order, Jewish is 74. With what's considered the most pure cipher, the alphabetic order and rules of numerology, Zion Williamson is 74. Again, all of these values matter. The exact same in 3 out of the 4 ciphers. The Zion Williamson sweepstakes on the anniversary of Zionist Israel. So anyway, Steph Curry, who's now become part of this big Society of Jesus ritual with his fake injury and his contrived return. His birthday's days away. It'll be the 74th day of the year. Again, Jesus, Messiah, cross, parables, gospel, 74. He's got the hair like wool. Jesus Christ, 74. If you use that rule with the 19th letter, it's also 83. And notice how Steph Curry, what he's commonly called, it has the gematria of 153, like Jesuit order. The Jesuit order is the Society of Jesus. It's how they're commonly referred to. Steph Curry's also 54, 54. Jesuit order's 54. You see how Jesuit order's 144? When Donald Trump posed with the Pope, here, if you forgot this, I'll show you this picture. Pope Francis, Donald Trump photo. And then Melania was there and Ivanka, and they all looked like they were depressed and ready for a funeral, except for Donald Trump, who had this big sinister grin on his face. This one right here. This photo's from May 24th, the 144th day of the year. And I mean, just like, isn't this just one of the most bizarre photos you've ever seen in your life? I mean, what is going on here? Look at the Pope's face. Like, what does that face expression communicate? What is that? Look at Donald Trump. Doesn't he look like, I mean, I don't know exactly what the devil looks like, but I'm pretty sure it would look damn close to that. And then, I don't know what's going on here. I mean, this looks like something out of a Hollywood horror movie, her face. I mean, what is going on? And then Ivanka looks like she's under some sort of mind control or something. And since we're talking about 58, don't forget that Donald Trump is the winner of the rigged U.S. presidential selection, which was number 58. He hired the 58-year-old Steve Ray for Inauguration Day. When he announced he was running, he did it from the 58-story Trump Tower. The day of the inauguration, if you go back and watch the film of the inauguration, well, it might depend on what channel you watched, or maybe it was all the same on all of them, but I just remember how much the camera just panned from the, the ritual going on the stage to Ivanka. Just the camera was on Ivanka so much. Ivanka, Ivanka, Ivanka. And Ivanka with the alphabetic order is 58. And I was like, this is not an accident. And don't forget, just in case you don't know this, The Simpsons have a cartoon about Ivanka Trump running for president in 2028. That's the year she'll turn 47. And they also have another cartoon, of course, predicting Trump to be president. And they have another cartoon where Lisa Simpson becomes president. If you can see that, Lisa Simpson and Ivanka Trump are the exact same in all four ciphers, right? And you'll notice Lisa Simpson and Ivanka Trump are both 146. That's Trump's birthday, Donald Trump's birthday, June 14th, the flag's birthday, 14/6. The name Trump alone's 47. So is president, so is White House, so is government, so is authority, so is Republican, so is Democrat, so is DC. They're all 47. The cartoon's when she's 47 in 2028 running for president. 151's the 36th prime. And then 70, again, there's something about 70 that I just don't understand yet. Star David's got that. Star David's 47 and 70. Again, Donald Trump in Jerusalem for Jerusalem Day. There's something there that somebody left a comment the other day on saying this, and they were saying that was the year that the real Hebrews were overthrown. Could have something to do with that, but I don't mean to downplay the comment. It's just I need to do some more research. I think there's something big to 70 that I don't understand. So, but yeah, that photo that I was just showing you is from May 24th, 2017, the 144th day of the year. And again, Donald Trump went to the Jesuit University Fordham. Again, his birthday synced with the Pope. Rituals, rituals, and more rituals. Here's an article from March 3rd, 3/3, about Stephen Curry sharing his Christian testimony. And again, this was the first game of the year for the Warriors. You can see they became 0-1. First game in San Francisco in a long time. 122 points. And I said 4 days before this game was played, I said, watch the Warriors score 122 points. And again, the reason I said that was because Mark Hurd, the former Oracle CEO, was reported dead, and I showed that day how Mark Hurd's 122-50, like Satanic's 122-50. Again, that matters because San Francisco's 122-50, and the Church of Satan was established in San Francisco. And for years, I've just talked about the Warriors in 122 and the broken record. I think it was I've lost track of them. The year that the Warriors opened the season against the Rockets, I think it was 2 years before this season. I predicted that the Warriors would probably score 122 or 121. Go back and look at the score of the game. The score of the game was 122 to 121. I just predicted all the time with the Warriors because it just happens so much. It's like one of the safest predictions in sports for predicting the score of an outcome of a game. It's just so repetitive with the Warriors. It is so repetitive. I've said it so many times over the years. It never fails. But again, they played at Oracle Arena. This year they moved to San Francisco. Mark Hurd dies at a young age at 62. Remember, sacrifice is 62. Faustian bargain. Somebody told me it's pronounced Faustian bargain. Again, I'm the master of mispronunciation. Not my forte. But whatever. Faustian or Faustian bargain. 62 like sacrifice. Whatever, however you want to pronounce it. Faustian or Faustian bargain is a deal with the devil for material wealth and gain. And no doubt that's what all these celebrities do, who sell out the masses. And again, for all the people who are Christian, again, I'm not trying to change your beliefs. I mean, you believe what makes sense to you, from your life experience. But I always question, Christianity and its belief system. I'm a spiritual person. I believe in God. I was raised Lutheran. I believe in the golden rule. I believe treating people correctly. And, doing what's right. If you see somebody in need, help them out. You see a homeless guy who looks hungry, he needs $1, you got $1 in your pocket, you should give it to him. This is the way I operate. But the reason I've always questioned Christianity, and I started to question it when I was young, especially when I had to go through confirmation and I got kicked out for asking questions. That taught me something there too, that I was asking fair questions and I got kicked out. But I always just thought it seemed weird that, there'd have to be a middleman between you and God. Because essentially, isn't that what Jesus is a middleman? Jesus is a middleman between you and God. No one goes to the Father except through him. And again, by the way, you guys, since we started with 58 and Curry missing 58 games, I'll just tell you something about the word Father. Father's 58, Biblical's 58, Tetragrammaton's 58, that's the 4-letter name of God. Again, King James, who has the Bible named after him, dead at 58. Rosicrucian 58. So, anyway, again, Meg Truth says there's no relevance to 58. That's a fake code. Couldn't make a more ignorant statement. But, again, just to finish my thought, again, to me, just the whole thing doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense. Why would God send a person to die on a cross for mankind's sins? I mean, that's God's master plan? That doesn't make sense. How can you tell yourself that story makes sense? I mean, if it makes sense to you, then let it make sense. I'm not trying to persuade you, but I'm just saying, how does that make sense? How could that be God's master plan, right? He sends his son to die on a cross for your sins. That's what God's plan is? He doesn't have a better plan than that? Is this plan working? The world's full of sin. Unless it's all a test, unless it's all about believing in, I mean, it's possible. It's possible. But also, I don't know why God would ever have a middleman between him and you if he's the creator. That also doesn't make sense to me. And then the other thing is that I just witnessed people like Steph Curry and Russell Wilson, who I know are sellouts to the core, who all they really care about is themselves and their fame and their wealth and all that comes with it. I know that that's who these people are. They're the scum of the earth. But then they get on the camera and they smile and they talk about how much they love Jesus and how Jesus is the reason for their success. And I know that that's just bullshit. Their success doesn't have anything to do with Jesus. Absolutely nothing. Their success has to do with the fact that they were born into the right families who sold out to the synagogue of Satan. You guys need to think about the fact that the Bible is the most printed book in the world. Gutenberg. The Gutenberg Bible. You want me to teach you some things about the Gutenberg Bible? If you don't know, this is the first printed Bible, the Gutenberg Bible. Notice Gutenberg is 45 and 45. It's also got the 144 like Jesuit order. But look at Holy Bible, right? Holy Bible, 45. Holy Bible is also 153, like the miraculous catch of 153 fish. Jesuit order is also 153. The most common Bible is the NIV, which has the 45 as well. King James, the year the King James Bible came out, 1611. That was the year he turned 45. But here, I want to show you something else about Gutenberg. The name, actually, Gutenberg Bible. It's got that 66, right? Just like New Testament has the 60. Whoops, I got to spell right. New Testament has the 66. Most Bibles end with the 66th book, including the Gutenberg Bible. You know, the New Testament begins with Matthew. Math is 66. 66 is relates to number of the beast, which is 666, which is taught about in Revelation, the 66th book of the Bible. Number of the beast is 66. But look at Gutenberg. There's another cipher, right? It's the English extended cipher. We learned about this from the website, what's it called? WritingTheBeast.com. That was one of the original Gematria calculators online before Gematrinator existed. We learned about this cipher from that site. Look at Gutenberg. 666. Here is wisdom. And don't forget, again, this is the first printed Bible, you guys, the Gutenberg Bible. Okay? You see the 144 and the 666? There's actually a mathematical relationship with those numbers. If you count the first 144 decimal points of pi, you know, with 3.14, and then it goes on forever. If you add 1 plus 4 plus all the digits that come after, if you add the first 144, it adds up to 666. And don't forget, Steph Curry's birthday is March 14th, Pi Day. The first Pi Day was celebrated in 88, the year that Steph Curry was born. But what's very interesting, something that we documented and killed with this year with the Warriors, was we saw how their season would begin 3-14 in tribute to Steph Curry, 3 wins, 14 losses, which it did. Then we noticed how they would likely become 3-14 in their conference, which they did. And what was the other one? They did it 3 times this year with 3-14 record. They did it for their overall record. Oh, I know what they did. They did their home record too. Their home record became 3-14, and then their conference record became 3-14. And over the years, I mean, if you guys are new here, we've been showing all the Pi rituals with Steph Curry again and again and again and again. And you know how he plays in San Francisco? Remember, San Francisco's that 50 city. San Francisco's 50, like circle. Pi's relate to circles. You know, pi 3.14, like you learned about in geometry class. See how circle's also 112? Look at mathematics. 112. 1 plus 1 equals 2. The Jesuits operate in 112 countries. Mathematics and circle actually both have 112 and 40. Biblical number, right? 40. Fourth book is Numbers. The numerology of 40 is 4. So anyway, I hear a lot of people calling in the phone. I have to walk over here 8 feet. The phone's over here charging. But I'll take a few phone calls. If you guys want to call the 509 number. And again, I don't want to. I mean, if you're a religious person, you do what you want. I don't understand how people can be Catholic personally. I mean, Catholicism, it's like one of the most evil things in the world. But again, I really think people should consider what's going on with spirituality in this world. Why do these satanic sellout athletes always praise Jesus when that's not what they're about? Don't forget that Jesus and Lucifer have some parallels in the Bible, and Lucifer sums to 74 with the alphabetic order just like Jesus. I think all of these things people should really think about. All right, caller, you're on. You got to mute your video.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, what's up?
How you doing? Couple answers to your queries. 70 AD is significant because that's when Jerusalem was destroyed by Vespasian. Okay?
Is that the fall of the Second Temple?
Yes, and it was prophesied in Daniel. Now, this is very, very important.
Hold on. You're right. This is huge because it fell to the Romans, and as they always say, all roads lead to Rome. So, okay.
There's a very interesting backstory, and there's an even critical backstory now because Daniel chapter 11 really predicts Jesus' messiahship and his coming. And modern-day Jews do not accept the true interpretation of Daniel chapter 11 and Daniel chapter 9, where Daniel predicts. Now, we all heard the story of the wise men coming from the east to view baby Jesus. The reason why they knew that is because they had Daniel's writings 11. And by the way, Daniel chapter 11 is probably one of the most important chapters in the whole Bible. But 70 AD is when Vespasian, and when Daniel says, in the middle of the week, he'll be cut off, but not for his own sake. He's referring to Messiah. And then after that, the flood, which means that the Romans would come and overtake Jerusalem. But 70 AD was with that, and Christ predicted that. Also in Matthew 24, he reiterated that prophecy. So that's very, very important. Yeah.
All right, yeah, that's got to be what it's all about. I mean, that just makes too much sense. So, yeah, good one. I appreciate it.
And also that Star of David is a hexagram. It's not really the Star of David. It's the Star of Chemos. It's Paul refers it to as the Star of Raphim. Okay? All right? It is an occultic symbol. It is not used. You have to understand when the Jews were exiled in Babylon in 685 or 687 BC, Nebuchadnezzar took them all away. For 70 years, they were exiled in Babylon. There's a 70-year reference, okay? By the way, governments are in receivership or in bankruptcy for 70 years, all right? That's another one for you. You do 70 years from 1776, you come up with very interesting relationships. There's 70 years from the Civil War, all right? Check that out sometime. But 70 years is when governments are typically in receivership or bankruptcy. Okay, that's an international law. So, but the Jews were in exile in Babylon for 70 years, where they picked up Babylonian Kabbalism. Okay, and which is why Christ had a very big run with the Sadducees and Pharisees and called them snakes. Okay, because they had mixed the teachings of Moses with Kabbalism and had all these onerous laws and regulations, and they really burdened the people. Made religious life, like most religions, they made a burden to the people. And you're right, religion is about directly to God. And to answer your question, Christ is the express image of God. Okay, he is God himself. He even said so. And he testified of that. He said, the Father and I are one. Okay? So, and that's why he could say, I am the way, the truth, and life. No one goes to the Father except for me, because I'm the express image of God. But that's biblically speaking, okay? It's not my opinion. It's just what the Bible says, expresses. All right? And you're right. The preaching the cross and dying is foolishness, okay? It's craziness. Even Paul said that. Paul said, you'll get a kick out of this, 1 Corinthians 2:24, but the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him, neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. You can't understand. You can't bring your mind to the Bible and bring your own thoughts and try to understand it. It doesn't work that way. Scripture versus Scripture. You can only compare Scripture with Scripture. That's why you have people coming on and say, oh, the Scripture says this. They quote one Scripture, take it all out of context. The Bible is most unquoted out of context more than any other book in the world. Okay, that's why people are led astray, because they listen to one person instead of listening to the book itself. Okay, and if one other thing Paul says is kind of funny. He says, "For preaching of the cross is to them that perish." This is his words, not mine. Foolishness, but unto us which are saved, a power of God. Okay, so yeah, if you don't understand the gospel and that sort of thing, you look at it from your own perspective. If you just look at it, it is idiotic, seemingly. This God sends his son to die for us. It's foolishness. It's crazy. It doesn't make sense. Okay? But you got to look at the whole big picture. And you got to give yourself time to do it. And you have to sit down with people who are really discerning and not willing to give their own opinions about that. And that requires time. It requires a lot of patience. And it requires a lot of discernment. And that's all I got to say.
Okay, well, so you gave a lot of good information there. I really appreciate it. So, I'm still a little bit fuzzy, though, on the point you're trying to make about belief in Jesus.
No, listen, what do you mean? you're fuzzy about. I just quoted some scripture. What you do with that is your business. I can't convince you of anything, and I'm not here to convince you of anything. Okay, I'm very very different from most people. What you believe, and I'm very live and let live. You're going to come to your own conclusions in life about what you believe. I know what I believe, and I'm not here to convince anybody of what I believe. Okay. And like you said, if you really want to convince somebody, you gotta treat people decently, with respect, with dignity, with kindness, with consideration, and like human beings, okay, with dignity. And a lot of people just don't do that. And a lot of people who say they go to church and they're Christian, and I agree with you. You know, religion has corrupted so many people because they're institutionalized into believing that if they do certain things in a ritualistic manner, that makes them good. It doesn't. Okay.
Well, that's exactly what I noticed about the kids that I grew up with.
I know that's what you're getting at the core. I understand that. I understand that.
Sure.
And I know that you know certain elements of the Roman Catholic Church, which is very different from Christianity, because the Roman Catholic Church is the Roman cult merged and took over Christianity, the formal things of Christianity, and called it Christian, and it really isn't. In fact, the Bible speaks of that. In fact, the Bible predicted that would happen, and that's what Revelation, the seven letters to the Church of Revelation, brought out, because that corruption came into Christianity. It was predicted it would come into it, just as it was predicted that the Jewish people would be corrupted by their neighbors around them, and all that's in the Bible. It was predicted.
So here's a thought, though. It could have all been predicted, but it's also possible that it wasn't predicted and it was kind of recorded as history, but in a predictive format. Because how do we know? I mean, how do we know at this day and age what really happened and what order things came in?
Well, you bring up a very interesting point, and what I will do is I will email you two things, and you have a right to question the authenticity of certain Bible texts, but you have to understand there's a Textus Receptus, and then there's the which is a received text. That's what's been handed down, and then you have to understand the texts that were corrupted by the Gnostic base. Okay, because Gnosticism really is one of the oldest religions in the world. Gnosticism is basically humanism. It's self-knowledge. That's it. In fact, that was the very religion that was introduced to Eve at the tree of good and evil.
Right.
You will know yourself. You will be like God, knowing good and evil. Okay. You'll have better knowledge of yourself. Okay. Gnosticism. That's all self-awareness, self-knowledge, and as opposed to what God has revealed, and that's it. So you have this great controversy between those two opposing, how should I say, traditions and belief systems and spiritual paths, and that's always been the case. So but I'll send you a video on it's very good video on the received text versus the Vulgate and some of the other texts that came from the Roman Church. But the Roman cult did corrupt a lot of what Christianity. They couldn't defeat it. They tried persecuting and slaughtering Christians and things, and they said, okay, I can't beat them, join them. You can get yourself a copy of Josephus's History of the Jews, #1, and Gibbon's Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. The latter one's a very thick book, but it's worth the read, and a guy like you would eat it up.
I will check that out when I get a chance. But yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. You got good information always.
All right, you take care.
All right, man. Take care. Ask and you shall receive. Yeah, that was a good lesson on number 70 there. I think somebody told me that before and I let it slip through the cracks. But yeah, I'm gonna have to really go back and look at that year in history and just see all the things 70, because that's usually once it is. Once you identify a number and figure out what it's about, then you start to say, oh, okay, now I see what they're doing. Now I get it. But yeah, a lot of Christians, I get the comments all the time that hate Gnosticism and Gnostics, but really it's just more knowledge. And look at the gematria of Christian and Gnosticism. The exact same in 3 out of the 4 ciphers. Capital G in the middle of the Masonic compass and square. They're big on the Bible. So we'll be taking calls, you guys. The phone line is open. What's up, Florida?
Hey, what's up, Zach? It's Jonathan.
What's up, man?
Hey, Lil Uzi just dropped his album today, Lil Uzi Vert. And Lil Uzi Vert is, he's basically the biggest rap star from Philadelphia. You know, he's, besides Meek Mill, right?
Okay.
So if you type in the name of his album, Eternal Attack, the way he spelled it is weird. It's the word eternal, and then it's attack, A-T-A-K-E. And in English ordinal is 113, full reduction 41. So he drops the album 41 days after Kobe died. In full reduction, the name of the album is 41. In reverse full reduction is 76. And the hometown team is obviously the Philadelphia 76ers. Remember, LeBron broke Kobe's record against the Sixers the day before he passed.
Hold on. Yeah, hold on. I'm interrupting you. You're killing it. Yeah, this is exactly right, because today is 41 days after his death. But yeah, 113 like Kobe Bryant, 41 like Kobe Bryant. It's also 211 in the same cipher as Black Mamba, and then 76 like the 76ers.
Exactly. And then look how they spelled it. Like, he spelled it all weird. Like, I think he's trying to say eternal attack, but just the way he spelled it is just weird. So, and then remember, Jadakiss just dropped his new album. No, not, well, before we get to Jadakiss, Lil Uzi drops his album today on 3-6. If you type in Lil Uzi Vert, it's 55 in full reduction, just like Satan.
Well, let's not forget the bigger 55 here with Kobe. Boulet's 55, Sigma Pi Phi's 55. They're out of Philly. Just using the Greek letters for Sigma Pi Phi, in the Greek letters it equals 55. So, and Kobe's memorial was on the 55th day of the year.
Right.
Remember when Kobe died? If you measure from the Boulet's birthday to Kobe's death, it was the 257th day of their age, which is the 55th prime. And they're going to turn 116 years old on May 15th, and I see this Lil Uzi Vert's 116 as well.
But it's just interesting how pretty much Lil Uzi, he's basically the biggest rapper out of Philadelphia. He's basically taken over Meek Mill's spot. But it just goes to show you how these albums come out on a specific day. Same thing with Jadakiss's album that came out today on 3-6. You know, and it just goes to show you how coordinated this whole thing is. You know? And
the world of entertainment,
the other
man.
thing too is Lil Uzi, he's a Leo, just like Kobe. You know, like I know Rambo, he talks a lot about the astrological signs.
Yeah.
But, you know, but it to me, that's just too much of a coincidence. Eternal attack equals 41 in full reduction. He drops it 41 days after Kobe drops dead, plus all the 1,041s around Kobe. You know?
Right. It's 7 months and 6 days after his birthday, kind of like the 7-6 album name. And let's see. I'm just seeing how many days. It's 147 days to his upcoming birthday, big Freemason number. So, yeah. You're right. I mean, and again, it just shows that the world of entertainment is a web of numerical rituals, and you can just see right through it when you learn this stuff. Yeah, there's no way all this is a coincidence. So.
Yeah. Now Meg Thee Stallion dropped her album today, and if you type her name in the name of the album, the way you spell it is Sugar. S-U-G-A. That's how she spelled the album. And look at the 24. You know, like Kobe wore the number 24.
Sure.
The name of her album is called Sugar equals 24. Also equals 60, like the N-word.
Like Kobe's last game?
Yeah.
60 points.
Yeah, like Kobe scored 60 points in the last game. Yeah, so it just goes to show you how all connected this whole thing is. And
To me, what it is like these are the entertainers you can see that definitely sold their soul to get where they are. It's just like this Meg the Stallion, and why is her name Stallion anyway if she's a woman? But again, her mom died, and then all of a sudden she became super famous real fast. So
Yeah, exactly, and I made a video about it too on my YouTube channel. It's just that the fact is that her mom drops dead. A week later, she's in the club partying. She's drinking bottles, she's popping bottles, she's twerking. It's like, wait a minute, your mom just passed at 40-something years old, dropped dead out of nowhere. Supposedly her mom was a rapper before she was. So her mom, her mom used to be a rapper and she used to be in the studio, this and that. And I guess that's supposedly, according to Meg Thee Stallion, that's how she started rapping, because she got influenced by her mom. But all of a sudden, a 40-something-year-old woman in her mid-40s just drops dead out of nowhere, and
that news, the news of her mother's death broke on March 22nd, right? March 22nd, 322. Can also be 22/3, like the Synagogue of Satan's 223, like Philadelphia's 223. I'm just looking at my post right here for what I wrote the day this news came out. That was a date with the 44 and 64 numerology, like how we see, celebrity deaths all the day on those days. Black Youngsta had lost his brothers, and remember he had the 223 album. And by the way, again, today is March 6th, 3-6. Like 666 is the 36th triangular number, and that was a big number with Kobe as well, number of the beast, so I'm sure that connects to it. I'm noticing that her mother died 35 days after her birthday, which matters because rap is 35 and so is Svengali, but it would have also been her 36th day of her age if I would have counted the span, and now this album comes out on March 6th, 3-6. Her mother was Holly Thomas, whose name equals 149, the 35th prime, and again she died 35 days after the daughter's birthday. So yeah. Yeah, man, it is all connected. Yeah, Oh, and her album, Sugar. Her album, Sugar, equals 48. Again, her mother died on 223. 223 is the 48th prime. So I'm sure this is all synced up with the mother's death as well.
Yeah, but see, the thing about it is that she wasn't sad at all. Like, I mean, a few days after your mom just drops dead, you're in a club partying, and she just always acts like nothing ever happened. It's just so sick. I'll give you another one. Look up, today, there's a rapper named King Von. His album came out today too. And just Google it and look at the on the album cover, he has on a jersey. And it says the name of the album is called LeBron James. And he has on a Lakers jersey, and on the back of the on the back of the jersey, he has a number 64. 64, like the sacrifice number.
How do you spell his name? King Von? VON? VAUGAH?
No, just King, the word King, and then Von, V like Victor, O like Oscar, N like Nancy. I want you to see the cover of this.
And the album's called LeBron James?
LeBron James. Yeah, just type in King Von, or just type in King Von's new album, or it should come up. And remember, this is 41 days after Kobe dropped dead.
Right. And King equals 41 as well. King is 41. I'm trying to find that album cover. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Oh, I see. Okay, okay, I see it. So yeah, here it is with LeBron on the cover. Oh, whoops.
You see his jersey number 64?
Yeah, I do see that 64 down there. Yeah.
Is that crazy or what? And King Von is from Chicago. Like Michael Jordan's considered the king of basketball. He has on the number 64, like the sacrifice number. 41 days after Kobe drops dead. It's sick, man. I mean, and they do this all on a specific day. 41 days after Kobe drops dead. All these out, because obviously we're going to be talking about Kobe the rest of the year.
Right.
This is probably going to be the biggest death of the year.
Right. I noticed this King Von.
Yeah, I see it on your screen now. Yeah.
And his name's got the numbers 38 and 97 like death, 38 and 34 like murder. It's not going to be good. And again, another rapper with a 38 assigned to him. This guy probably doesn't have that much longer to live, honestly. So.
Yeah, he's got the 38 and the 34, doesn't he?
LeVon James equals 35, 154, and 55, all like King James. King James the exact same in all those ciphers.
But look at the King Von, 38, 97, 34. That's crazy.
Yeah, oh yeah, so all the death and murder numbers, but then his album name is just like King James in 3 of the 4 ciphers, and again, LeBron's 35 right now, so.
Oh wow. Huh.
Yeah.
And then look at the 55. Yeah, I'm looking at you from my other phone. I'm just watching what you're doing on the screen.
Yeah.
So I don't know if but yeah, look at the 55. You know, it's like Satan.
Oh.
It's just like little.
Think about this too, man. It's the 66th day of the year, right? It's the 66th day of the year, and as we know, LeBron is 66. LeBron James is 66. You know, Lakers is 66. The year LeBron won his first championship was the 66th NBA season, and they shortened the games that year to 66 games because of the strike or lockout or whatever it was. So LeBron 66 wins his first championship, 66th season, the year that it was 66 games, and now all this stuff on the 66th day of the year.
Yeah, I mean it's more predictive programming. Obviously, the Lakers are a lot this year, but it's just going to show you. It's just going to show you more and more. I don't see how people don't see it.
Can you believe there's somebody making videos in 2020 saying that Gematria is all bullshit? Oh, man. What kills me is the guy making those videos is a black man. How are you going to be a black man and denounce this work in light of all that it reveals about all the wrongdoing against black people?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's great. I mean, the thing about it is that I think that you gotta have to. It's almost like you have to go through something in order to see the truth. It's like you gotta go through some hardships. You know, like I think that I think that's what a lot of black people, even though a lot of black people aren't, a lot of them are at least more receptive than other races, from what I've noticed, that at least listen, because they see. You know, I mean, like. A lot of them can't see, but a lot of them do see because of the things that we've been through. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. By the way, just go back to Meg Thee Stallion. This album comes out 350 days after her mother's death, just like how she died 35 days after her birthday. So 350, 35, rap 35. I mean...
Right.
Uh-huh. And again, King James 35. He's 35 right now. Again, that's why we've been pointing out for years. It's like, it seems like in the world of entertainment with deaths, it seemed like there's more connected to LeBron than anybody else. Like, he's like at the top of the entertainment pyramid. So.
Right. It's like that actor that dropped dead right after the Cavs won the championship, and he was 27 years old.
Right.
And he dropped dead in his driveway because the car ran him over.
What was his name? He was the Star Trek actor. But I remember everything about that because he had 103 birth numerology. 103 is the 27th prime. The Game 7 was the Cavs' 103rd game of the season. LeBron scores 27 days later. Nate Thurmond dies at age 74. Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh, by the way, if you want to find, I just checked out Zenith of the Alpha's video, and he has like a 4 or 5 minute video on Kobe and the number 81. It's very interesting if you want to check that out.
Okay, I will check that out. Yeah, Zenith of the Alpha always does good work. And something I need to look into is somebody told me there's some ritual of once you reach age 81 within the Scottish Rite, like you have to step down if you're the master of that lodge. I need to check that out to see if that's true. So could learn something else about 81.
Let me hold on. Let me see what hold on one second. Oh, because, okay, remember the other night I was talking about Chuck D when I called in to the radio show?
Yeah, I do. And that was a big 35 ritual.
So the word he got game equals 81, and he got game is a song that Public Enemy came out with years ago. That equals 81. Chuck D was born on 8-1, another 8-1. Professor Griff was born on 8-1. And then remember I told you, I was saying that Chuck D kicked Professor Griff out the group 31 years ago. Chuck D equals 31. 31 years later, he kicks Flavor Flav out the group. And, I mean, what are the odds of that? Okay, like, I mean, if you kick Griff out, then you kick Flav out 31 years to the 31 years, and then Chuck D equals 31. It's just crazy. It's like, what are the odds of that? That goes to show you that all he's doing is taking orders.
Indeed, exactly. That's what we've been exposed about the world of entertainment. People think all these athletes are making decisions. Oh, he's leaving this team. He's going to go to that team. Nah, these guys have no control. It's just all ritual. They're being controlled. By the way, that actor who died the day that LeBron won on the real King James's birthday, his name was Anton Yelchin. And it says right there he's Russian Jewish. But for people who forgot this story, supposedly he was crushed in his driveway by his own car. They said that like he didn't set the emergency brake and it rolled into him and smashed him against the front of his house. I mean, a story that didn't make any sense. So.
I mean, come on. I mean, like who's gonna like? It's just like I'll tell you the number one, to me the number or one of the top stories ever to show how much bullshit the media is. Remember years ago when they said that it was a crackhead smoking crack underneath the bridge in Atlanta? And because he was smoking crack, and because of the fire, the whole fucking bridge collapsed because he was, come on, like, first of all, most crackheads, they don't even like wasting lighter fluid. You know, the light is only going to go one place. You know, that's to the stem or the can or wherever they're smoking it. So, if somebody smoking crack underneath the bridge causes a whole entire bridge to collapse, and they put them on TV and they said, "Look at this." It just goes to show you how much the media wants to program you.
That was right after the Falcons lost in the Super Bowl to the Patriots in the rigged game, and again it was Interstate 85 and National Football League's 85 and Brady's 85, and the guy who they blamed it on, his name equaled 38 like fire like Falcons. It was, yeah, and I mean it was like a perfect square section that fell out. It was obvious that it was no accident. It was another sick ritual, and I mean that's just what's sick to think about is like they're literally doing this stuff as ritual and inconveniencing. I mean, how many people were just stuck in a massive traffic jam that day because of that? It's just, yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. So,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like that's just one of the most. That was just one of the most in-your-face stories ever for the programming. Once again, it's just programming you to think that black people are just drug addicts. And they're, I found this book called High Price, and it's it's a dude from Miami. He grew up in Miami, and he wrote this book. He wanted to find out, you know, because obviously there's a lot of drugs in Miami, just like they're all over the country. But he did research on crack, and he found out that only 10%, only 10 to 20% of people who ever try crack cocaine get addicted. You know, and they try to make it seem like, but the way the media portrays it is that crack and meth is this big epidemic, and if you try it once, you're automatically hooked for life.
Well, that's the way they present all drugs. They make it even seem like it's that way with weed and everything else. But the reality is, the crack is it gets you really high and it's really cheap. And then they funneled it into certain communities, and then they made all these harsh penalties for being caught with it and distributing it, and they really built up their prison industrial complex. So
exactly, but the thing about it is that he was saying in the book that you know, now crack, it does cause your heart rate to speed up, But he was saying in general, and I'm not promoting the use of crack. I'm just telling you what the book says. But he was saying that in general, using crack for a normal person that's healthy, it's not really that bad for your body. It does cause your heart rate to go up. It does cause your blood pressure to go up. But it's not what the media tries to portray.
Sure.
It's not like you smoke crack and you're just gonna drop dead from a heart attack.
Well, sure, but the other thing to think about is, I mean, like if a million people are exposed to crack, 200,000 are going to become addicts. I mean, that's a huge number of people, and there's more than a million people that use crack. But again, I've told this story before. When I had my weed business, one of my customers was also a crack smoker, and every time I'd come over, he'd offer it to me. I'm like, no, man, I'm cool. I'll stick with smoking weed. But he was a normal guy, and he had a job, and he worked at one of these tech companies up here in the Pacific Northwest. But I doubt his employer knows that he smokes crack, but he did. It was his thing. So. Yeah, I've been around people who smoke crack, and again, media just casts stereotypes, but I mean, it still is addictive compared to like weed. So, but yeah, I hear what you're saying, man.
Yeah. So that's pretty much all I had. I just wanted you to check out Lil Uzi, this thing with Lil Uzi, because they're trying to make him the biggest star to come out of Philly. And it's just funny how they always have these rituals with these Philadelphia rappers like Meek Mill.
All synced up with the Super Bowl the year the Eagles won it.
Also, right, or Fresh Prince. Obviously we know the connection with Fresh Prince and Kobe and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's just interesting how Kobe drops dead in the time that Will Smith has this huge movie in the theaters, Bad Boys 3. Or Bad Boys for Life.
Right.
They always
right.
It's just crazy, like.
Again, for people who don't know, Will Smith from Philly, who went to Bel Air, Wilt Chamberlain from Philly, who died in Bel Air with the predictive programming for Kobe. Kobe from Philly, playing in Los Angeles, which is pretty much Bel Air. The Fresh Prince of Bel Air equals 123. Kobe died 123 days after Will Smith's birthday. It was also 4 months and 1 day. And in one season of The Fresh Prince of Bel Air, Will Smith wore the number 41 for his basketball jersey. And it also reminds that Will Smith, the football player, died the same day that Will Smith, the actor, got the Lifetime Achievement Award at the MTV Movie Awards, the exact same day. And that year, the theme for the movie awards was gold and black, like the Saints colors who Will Smith played for. And Will Smith, the actor, had just done the movie Focus, set in New Orleans, focused on gambling and football and also numerology.
What are the odds?
Some people think it's all a coincidence. But yeah, what are the odds? I mean, it's astronomical. People think coincidences out of astronomical things, astronomically unlikely to happen. So, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like Mag. Just saying, oh, this is bullshit and that's bullshit.
His opinion doesn't really mean anything, though.
Even listen.
His opinion doesn't mean anything, because he started his video saying, I never even watched one of these videos, but I just know it's all bullshit. It's like, oh, wow, what a brilliant line of thinking you just told your viewers there. So it's like, anyone who's following this guy's a fucking idiot, man.
And then he just said, oh, I can tell this guy's a dummy just by looking at his face.
And where's his face at?
Like,
where's his face at?
Judging people now by looking at their face?
And where's his face at?
And right, at least you show your face.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
So it's
that's
just
the problem. That's the problem with these YouTubers. They never show their face.
So 3 people have all made videos talking about my face who've never put their face out there. A Call for an Uprising, Russian Vids, and now Meg Truth. And maybe there's even more, but those are the 3 I'm aware of. And I won't say this about A Call for an Uprising, but it's true about both Russian Vids and Meg Truth. They both made videos asking me questions, and I took the time to answer all their questions and type it out. And both of those posts, after I posted them, got positive response. And what did the video creators come to do? They came and got rid of the response. So I'm like, okay, don't ask me questions then if you're not going to respond and you're just going to delete and waste my time. Yeah, these people are punks. They're shills. All 3 of them, no doubt about it. So, indeed.
Yeah, and I'm glad the homeboy from Jamaica called and said, hey, this dude's not Jamaica. Don't try to, this dude's not a real Jamaican. He's from Barbados somewhere. I'm glad that he called and clarified that the other day when you were doing the live stream. And he
Right.
was like, yeah, we love you. The Jamaicans, we love you down here in Jamaica, man. He's not one of us.
Right. Well, yeah, that was nice that he called in. What's funny is if you go to his latest video, all people are posting about that, saying a fake Jamaican called into my show to talk bad about Meg. So that's how it's being carried over on. That's how it's being carried over on his channel.
Oh, wow. I just don't understand how somebody like that could have any followers. Like, where's your... All he says is, oh, that's bullshit, this is bullshit. And it's like you're saying, okay, at least you're dumb enough to see that a lot of this shit in the media is a bunch of bullshit. But you can't just dismiss Gematria and you don't know nothing about it.
Right. Well, and I'd say the reason dumb people have a lot of followers is because there's more dumb people in this world than anything else. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate it, Jonathan. So all those albums came out today? All three of those albums you brought up?
All three came out today, 41 days after Kobe drops dead, on 3/6. And Lil Uzi Vert equals 55, just like Satan.
We have to do some research on that 64 on the jersey. There's something more to that 64 thing there. I know it. We got to figure that out. Some maybe about the year 1964. So I'll be thinking about what's up with the 64. Again, the Civil Rights Act was in 64. Civil rights equals 64. But I think there's something about it with this basketball season. I don't know what it is yet, though. So.
And Jadakiss has a song on his album called Hunting Season. And he was saying that before the album came out, he was saying that he was going to take that song off the album because it happened. Because of what happened with Pop Smoke, and but I mean the song is on the album. I'm looking at it, so I thought that was interesting. And he has the first song on the album is called Pearly Gates. Then the second song is called Hunting Season. The fourth song is called Catch and Release. So I haven't heard any of this. I'm just looking at the playlist. But it's just interesting how they pushed it back to this specific day.
Right. Yeah. And we know what's up with that. I mean, the guy who it's about died on this June 6th, 6/6, and now it's the 66th day of the year. So. Yeah.
Yep. And it's the same. And it's like I was saying about Pop Smoke. It's been 2 weeks. There's no progress in the investigation. You notice when a rapper dies, they never find the suspect who did it. The cops don't know nothing. It's just some big, huge mystery.
Right.
And, it's always an unsolved murder. Like Big L, the Freaky Ty, to Biggie, to Tupac. I guess supposedly they found somebody. They found some people who supposedly killed XX Tentacion. But every year is all these rappers even from 2017. Lil Peep, he drops dead from an overdose. Then in 2018, it's XXX Tentacion. Then last year's Juice WRLD. This year's Pop Smoke.
One I can think where they found him is, remember, they found Eric Holder on April Fool's Day, 4/1 for another big LA ritual. I remember what a ritual that was, and then his alias was Shitty Cuz, which all just seemed like a big joke, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, normally they don't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes they do. They'll find us. Every now and then they'll find a scapegoat, but usually these murders go unsolved. You know, and the police, they gotta be knowing what's going on, especially the LAPD. They gotta be knowing what's going on. I mean, there's no way that some gangsters could come into a gated community in Beverly Hills at 4:30 in the morning, execute a murder, and run off on foot, and there's no cameras anywhere in the vicinity, and there's no. The only thing they could see is that it's 4 suspects. They said 4 suspects came to the front of the door. One of them went around the back. The person that went around the back got in, kills Pop Smoke, walks out, and they all run off. Now, this is right after the party that he had, and there were people inside the house. So they only go inside to kill him. Nobody has a camera to record anything. Nobody retaliates or nothing. And there's no progress in the investigation. It's just going to be just another unsolved mystery.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Again, and to me, it's just like, are they even really dying? That could be a big part of the reason why they never find anybody, and just hope that people forget about the stories. So,
Yeah, that was my next point. We don't even know if these people are really dead or not, including Kobe.
because like, what
You
are the
know,
odds that all the 41s coded on Pop Smoke's death, and they load him into ambulance 41, just like last year the number 57 was coded all over Nipsey Hussle's death, and they load him into ambulance number 57. I mean, the whole thing just seems like it just seems like it's way too much of a ritual to have the right ambulance on the scene and everything. So,
yeah, yeah. And if you and remember what now Larry Davis was saying that Kobe was involved in some kind of a stock, and supposedly on the Friday the stock dropped, like it dropped drastically, and then Monday he passed away Sunday. Then Monday that same stock quadrupled. So somebody knew Kobe was going to die, and somebody cashed out.
yeah.
And then that's just crazy. Like, that goes to show you that somebody knew what was going to happen.
Right.
You know, and that you were saying that with the Boule, all these rappers, all these entertainers, all these entertainers, black entertainers, they protect the same people who basically are enslaving us, or who have been enslaving us. So people like Jay-Z, Beyonce, Kobe, Jadakiss, all these people, they're part of the Boule, protecting the same people who have us enslaved. Now, that's the worst of the worst sellouts that you can ever have, but people worship these people like gods, just like you say in the first chapter of your book.
Mm-hmm.
People worship these same people like gods, who are protecting the same people who have us all enslaved in this fucked up system.
Right.
It's sick.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right, man. So, mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, let you keep it moving. I'll keep watching.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Thanks, Jonathan.
All right.
All right, take care, man. Whoops, I hit the wrong button as that person called in. Their timing. The line's open, you guys. I'll take a few more calls, and I need to get off because I know my lady, she just got home. She needs to study. She needs me to stop talking. What's up, man?
Hey, guys. Great words of wisdom there by Jonathan, man.
Indeed.
What I want to know is, who the fuck's still on the fence? How could you be on the fence on this? That's what I want to know.
Well, again, the people on the fence aren't the people like you who are putting the knowledge and paying bills with it. So, I mean, that's the difference. People who don't take the time to investigate and see the worth of the knowledge, they're the ones who are on the fence and don't get it. I mean, you can tell people your story if you want. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, my story is the gambling aspect of it. You know that. I mean, I knew something that was going on, something fishy, but. When I ran into your videos that first week, I'm like, wow, is this really going on? And I went back to it a second and third time, and then I realized, yeah, this is really going on. I need to fucking learn this.
And you did.
That's the thing. Once I really realized this is going on, I still didn't really understand it, but I was smart enough to see, yeah, this is impossible for all this stuff to line up this way. And I knew the whole Jewish thing anyway, so I knew how evil and sinister these people were. And that's why these people like Mag Bitter, man, they're selling their own fucking race out. This guy is he's a pile of shit, this guy. This fake-ass person is working for these people. And it shows you how entrenched and deep this network is. They got to gobble all these people up. Give them something just to control them, to make sure that they can get out of line, And that's why I'm on kudos Joe Cusack, because you're not afraid of this synagogue of Satan. You can continue to expose it, man, and that's why I will always support you. And that's the other reason why I called. Come on, people, fucking pay $1 for crying out loud. Do something in your life. Do something with your money that's smart. I mean, give this guy fucking $1 for 6 or 8 months. Just see what will happen. Don't you want to see something happen different? That's That's what I don't get. You can't put out fucking $6 or $8. If you see 8 or 9 months and that's not doing anything with the money, fucking take your fucking dollar back. That's what I don't get. You can't fucking even put $1 out there for this.
This is amazing to me too, man. Is just how few, and I just people continue to call in and say when they get their money right, they'll do it. And I'm like, when you get your money right, you're on the internet right now. I know you're.
You get your fucking money right. How do you fucking get a cell phone? How do you get all this shit? How do you pay for all this garbage and stuff you have? This is bullshit, man.
I think what I need to do is start showing people how to save $1 a month. Like, for example, don't go eat a
dollar, man. You can't donate $1. Stop what you're doing right now and send the guy a fucking dollar. I want to see something happen, man. I want to be. I'm not active because right now, of course, I'm out working. But like I told you, I will always support you because I know what you're doing is 100% right. You care about humanity, and you want to see something change. And you're like me. I am sick and tired of these motherfuckers ruling over us. Lying to us every day. Making fun of us, mocking us with all the fucking bullshit. And that's what it all is. It's all bullshit. It just seems like the bullshit is just worse than ever. And the motherfucking dummies around it still ain't getting it. It's like, how you fucking retards not get it at this point? If something ain't right. It's not even a matter of even having to understand this language, like you do, or, like I understand it now. Can't get something ain't right, and it ain't that hard to see who the motherfuckers are that are behind it. It's the same motherfuckers, and they use these people like Kobe Bryant, Muhammad Ali, all these tools they use. All these rappers like Jonathan was talking about. These people sold you out. They don't give a fuck about you. Just like that. They don't care about you. He's a fucking bitch. He's a bitch. Fake one to death. Well, pussy call up. We know he's listening. We know the fucking pussy's listening. You know what? Because he's a dummy. You don't want to get, embarrassed. You've already embarrassed this guy, man. You've already, it's stupid. And it's like, wow, I'm surprised they would even use him to try to take you on. What the hell that they've used in this community to come after you, and you fucking squashed every, the green of them, all these people, these fake ass motherfuckers. That's what they all are, all working people.
Yeah, it is true, man.
I guess, dude.
Yeah, I mean, my greatest frustration is that just so few people step up and, like, I don't get why people can't pledge $1 to see what happens. Because I'm already telling you guys,
goddamn fucking dollar, dude. $1. I give you $20. I'm gonna support you till the day you stop doing this. I'm gonna support you because I know that's the right thing to do.
Well,
for all you fucking religious, you Christian people out there, God, for you to have to support this guy for what he's exposing. God would be, he'd be upset. I mean, he's probably just, how pathetic are these people? He's probably embarrassed for them. It's just sick, the whole thing, man. I don't get people. People are just so pathetic, man. They really are.
Well,
I called in because you were talking about these kids in high school, right? When you grew up.
Right.
And when I was in high, this was of course way before I was awake to any of this shit. My parents sent me to an all-boys Catholic high school, Cincinnati Elder, and now I can look back on all that and I see really how corrupt it all is. And it's not because I was really raised Catholic; it was because it was considered the best school system where I went at in Cincinnati. So that's where I ended up going. There was this kid named there. He was named Matt Bonhouse, and this kid was a freak, man. He was like a man-child. I'd never seen anything like this. I remember the one day in the gym, we were up in the wrestling weight room, and this fucking kid put 3 manhandles on each side of the bench press, and he lifted it. You're talking about a kid that's like, 15 years old or something shit, Zach? 15, 16, maybe years old, lifting this kind of weight. And then he went to Ohio State, right? This kid, Ohio State. And then it was like a couple years after that. So we're talking the early 90s. It was this rumor that came out that, something happened with Matt, and, he got involved in this cult, and all this weird shit. I mean, you can read articles on them, and they'll say that it had something to do with some type of he had some chemical imbalance. But I think it's really interesting, and I didn't know shit about this. This was almost 30 years ago, and I remember the stories about him being involved in some cult. So I'm like wondering, what do they do with some of these kids? Sure. That's kind of weird knowing what I know now and looking back on it. So I just thought that was interesting. That's what made me really fall in.
Sure. Yeah. What's too bad is because people don't pledge $1 and people hear me saying how we need to get the funds up, what ends up happening, because like the funds are going up right now, but there's not a lot of new people joining, so I know that means that the people who are already pledged are just increasing their own pledge amount, and this is what happens every single time. It's like very few people...
It's the fucking book. It's the same thing with the book. Yeah, and I didn't do that. I bought the book and that was it, but I'm going to support you other ways, but it's like, buy the book. Why can't they even at least do that? It's just amazing to me. And then how many people, I'm not a big avid reader either, but, just people don't read, man. I mean, they don't read anything. I mean, I read, but, I don't read a lot of, lengthy novels and things, but I do read every day. But some people, they don't read at all, man.
Well, case in point, since we're making a video about Meg, he's showing the screenshot of my strike for the video I made about him, and he's like, I don't understand how he could be making a video if he's showing a shot of a screenshot. Well, it says right on there. Meg hasn't had his channel deleted enough to know. In recent weeks or recent months, YouTube changed their policy from the first strike. Now you get a warning, so you can still post, but then when you get that second one, then you're suspended for a week. So Meg's like, when you get a strike, you can't post for a week. It's like, Meg, you haven't been struck enough to know, man. I've had 19 channels deleted. I know all about how this works. And it says right on the screen in front of him that your first strike's a warning, your next one's a 1 week suspension. He's bitching about this and saying it's impossible and I must have made up the graphic. It's like, dude, read the words on the screen that you're presenting to your audience right now. But talk about not reading.
Said, why are they protecting this guy? Couldn't that be obvious enough? You respond to bullshit. His shit doesn't get taken down. Every other word was an F-bomb that comes out of the piece of shit's mouth. And then you respond nicely to it, and what happens? They take your shit down.
With a hate,
that tell you? That tells you all those motherfuckers like that were following you, that were watching him. Obviously, they don't want that.
Right.
YouTube didn't want that, so that's why they struck your video. Nothing at all was wrong with that video. Nothing at all.
Right.
So it's like how do people be so dumb to not see that? And then the guy gets to blatantly lie and say you haven't had 19, channels taken down. Just shut the fuck up, man. Shut the fuck up. I hope some of his people are listening. Come on, people, use your fucking brain. This guy's a shill. He's an agent. Look how many people they use in the black community to try to control you people. All right? We need to all gather together as one. That's what they fucking don't want. That's why they use all these black sellouts to try to control you, because that's what they're really worried about. They're worried about black people. That's why they use these people. It's obvious. I wish more people could see through this.
Indeed.
It's just pissed off, man.
Indeed. And again, to come back to the dollar donation, the reason I want people to donate $1 and not $5 or $10 or $100 is because I know that everyone can afford $1 a month unless they're just making the dumbest of excuses. There's no way you can't afford $1 a month. You can budget that. I mean, $1 doesn't buy jack shit. It buys a bottle of water. You could drink one less bottle of water a day, or in the course of a month to come up with that dollar. And the reason that it's important for a lot of people to be supporting $1 is because then I know, okay, there's a group of people who are behind this, who can't afford this $1 a month. I know those resources are going to be there. Now I can hire people in confidence, rent a place in confidence. If I have 2,000 people pledged at $100 a month...
And I want to be the person that supports that. Not necessarily I'm going to be a part of that, but I want to be the person that puts money into that. And if you get something like that going up and you got it running, man, I'm going to support 50 to 100 bucks a month then to keep that thing going. Because that's what I want to see. I want to see these motherfuckers taken out. I'm sick of these fucking people. I'm sick of these people rolling over our lives, deciding, what's good and bad for us. Bullshit. No, I want to make my own decisions, my own, and I want to be. I don't want to be fucking lied to. We're lied to by these people from cradle to grave. People can't see that by now. How many times you got to be lied to fucking get it, people? I mean, come on, man. I want to see this thing grow. I really do, man. I want to see, and it can. It's just like people need to get off their fucking ass. You're not even asking them to do that much, Zach. You're not even asking that much. This is how fucking pathetic this is.
Well, it's really sad because in the time I've said it, there have been people who've come and pledged $1 who I'm grateful for, but I mean, out of all the views, hardly anybody who watched the video decided to pledge $1. But again, you guys, right now, there is a spot in this town. It's a really good deal. Again, it's 15.
I mean, that'd be perfect, wouldn't it?
I haven't even told the full thing though. It's $1,500 a month. It has 8 offices, so theoretically we could have a bunch of employees there in time. But I haven't even told you that they're half of it. There's a downstairs to this building, and it has a full restaurant kitchen and an eating place and everything. So honestly, we could even turn it into a nutrition restaurant there and make more revenue, and then we could be preaching good eating.
Someone else in the community could branch off of that. It could be a huge thing. It could be a huge thing. And all we're asking is a fucking goddamn dollar, people! A fucking dollar! Quit making excuses. I don't know how many times I've heard people call up and call you, and I know this is that people that just ran into your work and want to know how to get your book or, support your Patreon. Oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. How many fucking times have you heard that? And you probably heard it, 1,000 times more than me because of these people calling you up personally. I hear it all on the live stream and through the videos.
Right. Well, yeah, people are always saying they're going to do it.
Who are these people? I mean, don't fucking embarrass yourself. Don't embarrass yourself. If you're that fucking cheap, if you can't give $1, go fuck yourself. Go move on. Go somewhere else. Go look for some other freebie somewhere else. You guys giving enough fucking, pretty much giving his whole life to this for nothing. And he's not asking very much. Unfortunately, that's what it takes to get somewhere. I mean, people get by now that this isn't, for you, this isn't about money and material things. It's the furthest thing from that. That's not you. You need the money to fucking make a difference. And that's what we have to do. This platform, look what they do to it. They just keep it down. And they use all these fucking pieces of shit like MAG, to come after you and attack you. I mean, that's the whole purpose. That's why we have to have funding to get it to move, to get it somewhere else, get it out on the street, and to do the things you need to do.
Well,
I mean, that's the only way this is going to further, man.
That is true. A lot of people are staying away from my work because there's so many different people on YouTube who've made videos attacking me and slandering me and putting out all this false information, and that's all they know. It's just and it's not even true. I just heard Retard from Boston make a video the other day, and he said, man, people are saying bad stuff about me, and they don't even know me. It's like, dude, you put out 4 videos when my house was crashed through on Christmas Eve saying it was a hoax. Dude, I mean, these people are a joke on here, so... Yeah.
No, man, it's just fuck. Some days, man, I get so frustrated with humanity, and I know you're in the same boat, because you deal with these people every day, man. I don't know how you do it some days, man. I don't know how you do it. I don't know what makes you to just not say fuck people. These people pretty much deserve what's coming to them. I mean, you're sitting there, you're fucking spelling it out for them, telling them exactly how these people are operating and how they're doing it, and it's like people just they can't even get $1, man. It's like, wow, what the fuck, man, really?
And for the people out there who can't donate the $1, or who could but aren't, understand, what you are preventing right now is the hiring of full-time employees. That is the goal, to get a team of full-time employees to help me out, to have a building where we can actually meet in physically. For all of you who say get volunteers, no, that's not going to work. I can't tell you how many people have decided that they're going to volunteer and then something comes up in their life and they don't finish it. That's not going to work. We need full-time employees. We need people that...
And that's a good start, man, and that's not asking enough. You woke a lot of fucking people up, Zach. There's plenty of people out there that can give a fucking $1 and make this thing start going somewhere, man. And that's what I want to see. I'm like you, man. I'm not totally so pessimistic that I don't think anything can be done. No, I think something can be done. Why do they use all the resources that they do
exactly
to do what they do to you?
Exactly.
Right? I mean, that's kind of
No. Hold on. Stop for a second. Not just what they do to me, but just think about what they have to do every day to keep everybody programmed. They always have to reinforce the same messages, distract people with the same shit every day. It's a constant work that these people do to stay in control the way they do. That's why if their machine's broken, it's not going to work for them anymore, and they know their machine can be broken. That's also why they're censoring people like me, because they're worried that we're just going to start that, snowball that leads into the avalanche that buries them. So that's how it is.
Well, they're scared shitless. That's why they do what they want. And that's the whole thing of this. I want them to stay fucking scared. And I want them to be more scared. That's why give $1, people. Give $1. Make a difference. I mean, you literally can. This thing is snowball. A bunch of people send in $1, and next thing you know, you're hiring 3 or 4 people. You got this building going, and then 3 or 4 months, it's like, holy shit, man, the thing just turned around. Just like when they almost put you out of commission in the fucking FBI. See, they fucked up. Y'all fucked up when you sent the FBI to his house. That woke people up, right? That woke people up. So that, and that's the whole thing of it. It's like, but it shouldn't have to be that way. It shouldn't have to come to that.
That is true. That is true. And you know what's funny? In the time we've been talking about how we should chip in $1, half the people that were watching left. Isn't that funny? So that's just what I mean. But
yourself, you fuck. Y'all deserve.
Well, they're gone now. They left. They're gone. They're left. They don't find it worth $1. They'll sit around and watch, and that's all they're here to do is watch. But again, that's why things come out of my mouth like what I say. Like sometimes I think what's on the Georgia Guidestones is right. As far as I'm concerned, most people I've met in my life, they don't deserve to be breathing. They're fucking worthless. And I found that most of the people here who are following, and again, for the people who support, I'm very grateful for you. But the majority of people who sit around and just make excuses and they're not doing shit.
That's all it is, man. Excuses. They want something for free.
Yeah. So if these people do have a plan to really genocide the planet, and it is as soon as something like 2024, I'll tell you what, the majority of people who even follow me deserve it because they're not doing jack shit to help anything besides watching YouTube videos. They don't even have the bravery to share the fucking video anywhere. So.
No, most of these people that way. Even the people that believe and and they follow and they understand what you're doing and this is the way it is, they don't even share the shit. They're fucking pussies. They're worried about their social media credentials.
Exactly.
Get the fuck out of here.
Exactly.
You guys are just fucking worthless, man. You're the reason why we live in the fucking world we do.
This is true.
These are the same people that procreate and have fucking kids, Zach. Don't have kids. Don't bring another human being life into this world, that's so fucked up this way, and you're a person that sits back and you're not going to do anything about it. They don't even teach their kids this shit, It's like, come on, man. People are just a joke, man. I don't know. I've said enough, man. I appreciate you as always. You know that. Thanks for letting me put my 2 cents in. I'm going to get this shit done, and I'm going to try and get out of here, get off the slave ship today.
All right, man. Enjoy your weekend. All right, take care.
I'm going to keep listening, man.
All right,
I'm going to keep listening.
Appreciate it, man. Take care. Caller?
Yes, hey, Zach. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. What's up?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you a question. I'm still learning how to decode and stuff like that. I appreciate everything you do. I have a question for you. Since everything's been revolved around Kobe and Philadelphia and stuff like that, have you seen any, with your decoding, that a potential championship coming out of Philly again because of all the stuff revolving around Philly and like Kobe and all the stuff that involves Philly right now? Because the Flyers have won 8 straight. They came from 15 points down, and now they're tied for first place against the Washington Capitals. And like what you did with the Nationals, everything revolved around the skull and bones, and that came to fruition. Do you see that coming again, maybe with Philadelphia, or you haven't researched it too much?
Well, that's the way it kind of works. So yeah, it's very possible. Somebody left a comment a couple weeks ago when we were talking about Kobe that the Flyers picked up their 41st point of the season 41 days before Kobe died. I didn't go back and verify it, but that might be something to look into. So. But yeah, that's kind of how it works. Bryce Harper was a big part of the Nationals ritual last year when he went to the Phillies from the Nationals. His first press conference, he said he wanted to bring a championship to Washington after joining the Phillies. So we know that wasn't an accident after the Nationals won. But yeah, I'd keep an eye on all that. So.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up, and I just want to say, like always, I appreciate what you do and stuff like that. And I hope that everybody, like the last call that was going off on everybody saying that they should pledge $1, I agree with them. Because if you ain't going to do nothing, if we're not going to stand up against everything that goes against us and all the mockery and all the stuff that goes against us, and you're putting out this hard work just to be nothing to come out of it, you're just doing it just to waste your time, and nothing's ever going to change, then what's the point? You know what I'm saying? So I hopefully that what you do every day, and sometimes other people that support you, like I do, say something, will hopefully be like skyrocket for people to do, so you can get everything to go against these people that mock us every day and want to hold us in the captivity and do everything control us, with everything they have planned out to control us, and it's not right for you to be out here doing what you do every day to go in vain. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the whole reason I've been doing what I'm doing is because I saw the writing on the wall a long time ago. I saw it the day 9/11 happened. I said, if something's not done about this, it's just going to get worse and worse, and who knows what other awful things they have planned for us. And like I said, 5-6 years ago when I started posting videos, I said, censorship's a real thing. We only have so much time left to speak out before they start making laws to lock us up like they do in other countries. It's like in Europe, you can't even say some of the things I say. It comes with a prison sentence. It's going to end up being that way here in time. The writing's on the wall. We see the laws being made right now. We see, the headlines about financially punishing people on social media who are, questioning what are official events, as the government puts it. So that's why the time is now. And for people who can't pledge $1, you guys essentially what you're doing by saving your dollar is you're buying your definite slavery that is coming. Worse than what it is now. And honestly, I don't know anyone else in the world, and I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I don't know anyone else in the world who's put in more time in the last decade and showed anything more important, more revealing, connected more dots, exposed more. So, if you can't invest $1 in this, you probably can't invest $1 in anything, and because you're too cheap to share that $1, you're going to end up paying for your own demise, truly.
Maybe if you put it this way, Jack, to pledge $1 could possibly save our lives.
That's exactly what it is, man. That's exactly what it is.
To save our lives, you can't pledge $1 to save our lives. You want the people that want to control us, put us in concentration camps, take all of our money, to divide our families up, slaughter our families. For $1, you can't save I have children, Zach. I got 2 kids. My son's 18. My daughter's 14. I don't want my kids to be slaughtered or killed or taken advantage of. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand why people can't pledge $1 to get this out, to save our lives, to change something. Because if you don't, we're essentially just going to have our hands tied behind our back, and we're going to get hung or whatever they plan to do to us in concentration camps or whatever like that, because they don't want to they want to control everything. It's all about control. And we have to stop this, man. And I appreciate what you do, man. And much respect, and I always follow you, brother.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for the message. You're right on. All right, take care, man. Caller?
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, what's up?
What's up? So I just wanted to talk to you about my experience with the knowledge that I gained from you. So I found your channel it's been like a month now, basically when Kobe died. And when I first found your channel, I was like, there's no fucking way. With this, what you're doing? No way. The knowledge that this man is putting out, there's no way this could be true. So I kept watching your videos, and the information got more and more consistent. The patterns, I started recognizing the patterns, and I got real excited about it. So I started telling my friends, and both of my friends, they didn't believe me either. Basically everybody I told, they didn't believe me. They was kind of like, nah, it could be true. I don't know. But one thing that solidified it for me was the celebrity all-star game. I was just chilling. I was bored. I was like, I just want something to watch. So I watched the celebrity all-star highlights, and I paid closer attention to the jersey. I was like, the jersey looked nice, and everybody can do this on their phone or on their computer right now. I was looking at their jerseys, and I was like, their jerseys look nice. Then I paid closer attention to it, and on one side, the jersey says Shy, right? CHI, because they were playing in Chicago.
Right.
Then on the other side of the jersey, well, in the middle, before you even get to the other side, it says All-Star. Then on the other side, it says 20. So I was like, this is what's gonna solidify it for me. If I put Shy in on this calculator, this Gematria calculator, and Shy comes out to 20, and it completes the current year that we in, I know that everything that this man was talking about is facts, and it's gonna blow my mind. So I went to my Gematria, the little calculator thing. I typed in shot, and believe it or not, bro, it equaled 20, and it completed the current year. And I was like, no way.
Right.
Also,
and hold on, Fred. I love this. I've been loving this story, but I'm going to remind people what I always say: don't depend on the calculator. Learn to do this in your head, because like C's the third letter, H is the eighth, I's the ninth. I mean, you could probably just add that up real quick. 3 + 8 + 9. You could. The reason I got good at this was because I took because there wasn't a calculator. I wasn't aware of any Gematria calculator when I started. Right. I didn't know about any Gematria calculators. I memorized it in my head. And I just saw all the shit put on in front of me all the time. And I am probably a little bit better at math than most people, but I was just able to calculate stuff all the time on the TV screen. And I was just like, look at what they're doing. Like, look at that again. Oh my God. Because it goes on all the time if you can calculate stuff fast. It's always being put before your eyes. Commercials, ESPN, sitcoms, movies. I mean, it's everywhere if you can calculate quick. So...
Another thing I wanted to, it's so much stuff I want to talk about, but I can't do it in one phone call, so I'm just gonna pick and choose my topics. But another thing is once I started watching your videos, but it's all I've been watching on YouTube now. Like I can't watch anything else but the Gematria videos, and I seen how they be deleting your channel. I see it. They don't want the message to get out, but another thing I want to point out is once you kind of start seeing the patterns, you can predict stuff, and it's crazy. I was watching The Invisible Man. I was watching it with 2 other ladies, and I was just paying attention to the background and stuff. And when you watch certain movies, they literally tell you how the movie is gonna play out. Like they literally tell you who's gonna die, how they're gonna die, like how the movie's gonna play out. And the lady that I actually went to the movies with, she was kind of freaked out because there was a clock in the background, a digital clock, and it had the time 4:07. And if I'm not mistaken, I know the number 47 is associated with death, right?
Well, it does actually have an association with death. We normally just talk about it being a Masonic symbol, but yes, it does. If you read my book, there's a part on Jack the Ripper and 47, and there's a few other examples too, but yes. If you use the master numerology of K, we normally talk about how killing is 38, which it is, but if you use that master numerology of K, which is 11, killing becomes 47. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. So basically, I told her somebody basically important was gonna die the next scene, and sure enough, the next scene, her I don't really want to tell the story, but basically because the movie just came out, but basically somebody important, very important to the movie, died, and she got kind of freaked out because I've been telling her about this Gematria stuff for a week now, and she was like, bro, how did you kind of freaking me out because you just did that. And I was like, yeah, it's crazy. But the last thing I want to talk about is the corona thing, the coronavirus and the stock market. I was in the gas station just looking at, because they got a TV always playing the news, broadcasting the news. And last night or 2 nights ago, I was in the gas station looking at the news, waiting in line. And it was so crazy because if you really pay attention to what these people saying, they literally tell you what's gonna happen. They said on the news, expect more cases of the coronavirus. Expect it. They kept emphasizing there will be more cases. Expect more cases. And I'm like, bruh, is no one hearing what they saying? They're literally telling you that they're gonna keep going. There will continue to be more cases. They will continue to lie, make up false flag news, and bro, it's wild, man.
And the last post I did yesterday, I didn't do a video on it, but it's on my blog. The last story I saw at the end of the night was CNN yesterday on March 5th. had this story. 241 people denied entry into U.S. It was the latest coronavirus story. And I just laughed because 241 is the 53rd prime. The word entry is 53, and the date's March 5th. The majority of the world writes that date 5-3. Again, every single detail they put out about this coronavirus thing, it's all contrived crap by the numbers. And again, it's not just coronavirus, it's everything. Like you said, you just got here after the Kobe Bryant thing, so you've been following for a little more than a month. But this is what I've been preaching for 6 years, more than 6, going on 7 years now. Is just if you learn this knowledge and you watch the news each day, you'll see how they just make up all this stuff by this code. So
my last, well, now this is my last thing before I go. I have a question. How do you? Because I'm real interested in this code and like how you sit here and decipher like the news and you connect like a TV show or a basketball game to a political event, or it's just crazy how you do it. I just wanna ask you, how do you make those connections? Like, how do you know which words?
Okay, all right. I get your question. All right, let's just think about a recent one that was correct. So remember, Donald Trump, he's at the Daytona 500, right? You knew he was there this year?
Yeah.
Okay, and he's the Grand Marshal, and there's supposed to be this Trump-Pence car with his campaign thing on it, but it didn't make it. The story is that the truck with the trailer went off the road somewhere in Tennessee. This is the mainstream story. And it's just obvious it's a bullshit story because they can't even tell you where in Tennessee it went off the road or what happened. Just some vague detail. I mean, this is a big deal. A NASCAR car didn't make it to the track with the president's name on it. So I'm like, okay, this is a riddle because he's at a race, right? It's the year of a political race. It's Tennessee, so they're telling you Tennessee. Well, what's the next big political event in Tennessee? Well, of course, it's Super Tuesday, right? So what happens Super Tuesday? You get this devastating story of a tornado that rips through Nashville and kills all these people. So, and again, I told people, I said, watch Tennessee on Super Tuesday. There'll be something. Well, it ends up being that. So then I don't know the whole story, right? So a woman calls in, 2 days after I make the video, and she's like, hey, I just saw your video, and I live here in Nashville. And she says, what they're not reporting is that where it hit is a predominantly black area. And she said, it reminds me of 1998. We had this tornado that came out of nowhere that tore up the black neighborhood. And then gentrification really started. And she said, right now we're going through all this gentrification. And she goes, I just know. All these black people that just lost their property, I just know already. It's going to be white people who come in and take over that property. She's like, will you look and see if there's something here? So I look, and I'm just like, look at that, man. It's the exact same ritual that took place in 98 pretty much. And so, anyway, it's like that. It's just keeping stuff surface level. It's like, okay, a political race, a story about Tennessee. So you just got to follow kind of like what they're hinting at and just like think about what the next logical thing is that would make sense. And that's just how it is. So it's about awareness and just picking up on the little hints they give you.
Appreciate that. I'm going to watch more of your videos. Well, I mean, right now, it's literally the only thing I watch on. It's the only thing I can watch on YouTube because I've always been a truth seeker, and as soon as I got 4 or 5 videos in about the Kobe situation, I knew for a fact I had found something. I was like, man, this guy right here, this guy is up to something because he's using numbers. And for anybody that's doubting, just remember, numbers don't lie. They say it all the time. Numbers do not lie. So just remember that, man. Everything repeats itself. Numbers do not lie. Thank you. I'm going to keep watching your videos. You have a great day, man.
All right, take care, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Caller?
Oh, I made it. Yay.
Made it.
Hey, Zach, this is Gemini Queen. How you doing, man?
You're good at getting through. Doing well.
It only took me about 5 times. I've been trying to, get timing right.
Persistence. Persistence is everything. There you go.
Well, Zach, I really wanted to ask you some more about Dayton. I mentioned the tornadoes and the KKK rally, and then so much stuff going on, right?
Right.
And now
their basketball. Their basketball team's on fire.
That's what I'm really calling about. So, I'm not a professional yet like you about these numbers and how everything is broken down, but I'm awoke enough to say, okay, what's going on? That's what's going on. Like ESPN is here this weekend. It's a whole happening.
Right. I'm waiting till all the college regular season's over and their conference tournaments. But Dayton's a very interesting team. I'm not saying Dayton's going to win the championship, but Dayton's narrative would be that if they did win the championship, they would have 25 wins in the tournament all time, and Dayton equals 25. And they did have a major death story, the shooting at the bar earlier this year by the numbers, and death is 25. So I'm keeping an eye on Dayton. I'm not saying they're the team, but they're definitely a team that's contending right now. So
I'm going to keep my eye out, and I'm going to try to connect the numbers a little bit better. I'm trying. It's hard.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what I've noticed in the time I've been doing this. It's gotten harder. It used to be easy when I first started. I was better when I first started when I knew less. But now they throw out all these stories and riddles. I feel like they've switched it up because of how we've been exposing it for years. And for anyone who doubts that, I mean, the USA Today wrote an article about me in January 2016, you guys, for doing this. Because I fucked Super Bowl 50 up that year. I said why it was going to be the Broncos over the Panthers in October, why Von Miller would be the MVP, why there'd be a Black Panther tribute at halftime, and why the Broncos might very well win with 24 in tribute to Super Bowl 24 where they got wasted by the 49ers. All that shit happened. So, and I called that in October. So.
I already know you the truth, so get mad. I know what's up and all that. So I believe everything you saying. I'm going to look more into it because I'm really trying to, see what's up, because it's definitely not just the sport arena, you know what I'm saying? It's the control weather, it's the politics, it's everything. It's like Ohio is a nice little melting pot of bullshit.
Indeed.
Or maybe a test zone.
Indeed. Yeah, well, let me know if you see anything local in Dayton, because, I'm paying attention to Dayton, too, and they are a very interesting team with the tournament coming up, so... Appreciate it. And just everybody, again, this is Gemini the Queen. She's got her own YouTube channel. She's a musician. She just did a song recently with Gematria and Murder by Numbers, so check her out. Gemini the Queen.
Yes. Thank you so much, Zach, and for everybody talking about Uzi ain't Satan. Little Uzi Vert, Lucifer. Come on, guys. Catch up to daylight. We've been doing this for a couple of years.
There you go. Yeah, you're right on. All right. Appreciate it.
Peace out. Much love, and I'll keep in contact with you, brother.
All right, thank you. Take care. Caller?
Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. My name's Kiana. I wanted to thank you for everything you do, Zach.
Well, you're very welcome.
And also, I wanted to add a couple of points that revolve around not only the All-Star game with the 2020, with All-Star also adding up to 2020, but recently I was looking at YouTube, and we all know that's owned by a group of Zionists, and an artist, Little Baby, just released a video called Something to Prove, and I decided to look at the video because it was number 33 on the ranking, and so when I looked at the video, 222 was above his shoulder and a place to drown. Well, I did some research on 222, and you said that there's always the rule that you can do 222 is related to 223 as well.
I don't use that rule, but that is true. So let me just stop you right there. Don't lose your thought. But 222 has been a huge number this year. It's just like on the day of the Super Bowl, Andy Reid, the coach of the Chiefs, got his 222nd career win on 2/2/2020. And Kansas City won their first championship since the Royals won. The Royals won the World Series exactly 222 weeks before the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. And then they made a deal about how the 49ers had a $222 million payroll who got beat. And we were just watching on February 22nd. Baylor's basketball coach got his 222nd career loss on 2/22. Their women's team won the championship last year. So, I'm not paying as much attention as I normally do to sports. There's probably been a million other 222 rituals going on, but it's obviously a big number this year in 2020, 2020. So, okay, go ahead.
Interesting. So after I did that, I decided to swap out 222, and I just had watched it and I was like, what's a new place? 222 drown is actually what it says. And I thought that was really interesting just with that because, like you said, I keep seeing the 222 everywhere. And it also, when you add up 222 and like spell it out completely, it's 42. And the video was released during February, during Black History Month. So I thought that was a little strange. The something to prove, I think, is just like overall him saying that he has something to prove, which to the Knights of Malta is what also lines up with 222, I found out, is in reverse order. So I think, however, he's getting into music has to do with him and his induction with the Knights of Malta.
Huh. Okay. That's another powerful secret society. So that very well could be. That's some good investigative work right there. And by the way, I forgot to mention that if you write out February
also is 222. So I thought that was strange. Either it's saying it's a new place for him to drown with drugs or something of that sort, but I'm not quite sure.
Again, what was the music video where you saw this?
It's called Little Baby Sum, like SUM, 2, the number 2, prove. And at the time it was released, it was number 33 with 3.6 million views.
Some to prove?
Yeah, SUM, the number 2, prove. And if you watch him, like, you can see it in the beginning of his, like, the YouTube picture thing. It's him with a backpack on, and then he has new place, and then there's 222. And when you
okay, well, let's, like, look at this. Okay, so I got it up here, but just, like, look at the opening verse. Yeah, my diamonds be VVs. Now, what is V? V's the 22nd letter, so his diamonds be 2222. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the song is Sum 2 with the number sum, add up, and like add up the letters, see what it equals.
Right.
So again, I mean, I'm sure I'll check this out. I appreciate it. So yeah, I'm sure this is another gem right here. But this is what's nice about the knowledge spreading, because again, and this is why I'm also preaching to people that there has to be a team of people who are dedicated to this research. Because if there's more eyes looking at things, there's more dots being connected. I'm one person for, I've been going on for nearly 7 years straight, working day and night to try to keep up with as much as possible. But even so, I still can only see a small fraction of what's going on in the world. The more people, the further it goes. So, yeah, I already know you're onto something here.
One more thing. When he says, when it says that on the wall, it says in his lyrics, it's right after he says, with snakes and shows the snake, like he says he runs with snakes and shows the snakes on his shoes. So that's all tied in together. But thanks for having me so much on the phone, and I hope to call in again and talk to you soon.
All right, appreciate it so much. Thank you.
All right, thanks so much. Bye-bye.
All right, take care. It's nice that all the new people are using the code and figuring out stuff and waking people up. But again, just to remind you about the whole Chiefs ritual, the Super Bowl was on 2/2. Don't forget it. If you signed up for my Patreon, I put out the pick there well before. And again, people want to hate, but at the beginning of the year, we did rank the Chiefs as the most likely team to win the Super Bowl. We said it would be AFC all year. We ranked the Chiefs as number 1. I told people from the very beginning of the year, before the season began, that it was either going to be the Chiefs, the Ravens might have a shot, because it was all given away on ESPN on September 3rd. It was a picture of Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. It coded Black History Month. And again, look what happened in Black History Month. Lamar Jackson, League MVP. Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl MVP. Caller?
Yes, indeed. How you doing today, Zach?
What's up, man?
All right. So, yeah, man, I've been following these informations and stuff, and I just had noticed that you got Eyes of Darkness, and End of Days, and both of those have the same initials.
Wait, your phone's a little bit quiet. If there's any way you can boost your volume, that would be helpful. But go back to you started to present something and just start there. That's better. Now start over with your presentation, please.
Okay, yeah. So I was checking the information, and you have the book Eyes of Darkness.
Okay.
And then you have End of Days, and both of those have the same initials, EOD.
True.
Which adds up to 24, and 15, 27, and 12.
And let me just pause real quick so people can follow in case they're not. End of Days is the predictive programming for Kobe Bryant's death, who became part of this whole coronavirus thing because he was buried in Corona del Mar. His episode that predicts his death is End of Days. Dean Koontz wrote the book Eyes of Darkness, EOD, EOD. which predicted a coronavirus outbreak back in 1981. And we all know about Kobe Bean Bryant, 81 and his 81 points in his 666th career game. So yeah, these are great observations. And now you're saying EOD is 24, like Kobe number 24. Virus is 89, the 24th prime. So I'm following you.
Right. And then so you have the 12 and the 57 and the 24, 12, 57, and another one, 15.
Right.
And all of those are part of the EOD. So I saw the 24 correlation, and then somewhere in the mix, Kobe's got a 57, I think, or something like that also, right?
Yeah.
So I just saw that, with that cartoon, End of Days, being a direct correlation to the book. I was like, damn.
That's a really good observation. Yeah, I hadn't connected. I hadn't thought of that EOD thing, but yeah, that's a really good point right there. So excellent work.
And then but when that Nipsey Hussle deal, and then the Kobe Bryant, they left some last statements. Kobe's last statement was continuing to move, CTM. And then Nipsey Hussle was the marathon continues, TMC.
Right. There were so many riddles coded into Nipsey Hussle's death. The comedian Nipsey Russell, the track star. Was it just? Oh God! I got to go back and look at all the Nipsey Hussle stuff, man. There was a ton to that. That's why I'm mad they keep deleting the channels, because there used to be a lot of videos up with all this stuff. But I want to say he died like on the day Jesse Owens did or something like that. So I got to go back and see what it was.
The other thing about this Mag character, I think he's just using you to boost up his views, that's all. He does that. I really believe he does that.
Well, he's just out for himself. He's a self-promoter, so yeah, I'm sure that is true. But I mean, there's other people he could pick on that have way bigger audiences, and I mean, it's just sad that somebody would diss something so important to try to build themselves up. And honestly, if he was really trying to build himself up, he should ally, because he'd have way more followers. Again, my channel's been deleted a ton of times. I've passed him in subscribers so many times I can't even count. So, he should be trying to link up instead of hate.
Right. So my question is, why did Mag Truth lie? Have a good day, man.
All right, appreciate it, man. Take care. Caller, you got to mute your video.
Yeah, my bad.
What's up, man?
What's up, Zach? I was just calling, and I had called in last week about that 8 Nations decode. And I had noticed that you had a caller call into the show this past Wednesday, and he was talking about how Pop Smoke actually does kind of sound like 50 Cent, and he got a song called PTSD, Many Men, and he got another one called Mercy as well. He actually does sound like 50 Cent, but notice he has that song called PTSD, right? And Jadakiss was supposed to drop an album on the 28th, but he pushed it back. But another rapper did drop an album on the 28th. His name is G Herbo, and his album actually was titled PTSD. So I thought that was a very weird correlation right there. But also what I just wanted to ask you, is there like a Bible scripture or quote that says like the truth will only be for like certain eyes or something like that? Like only certain eyes can see the truth, or like something like that?
It's not that direct, but there's verses in the scripture that talk about, essentially few have the eyes to see. And again, that's a teaching that comes from Hermeticism, which is older than the Bible. And I think a lot of what's in the Bible is just Hermetic knowledge retold in a different way. So look up the Hermetic text and just read, because they're not real long either. They're nice and short, and they're to the point. So
okay. Well, yeah, I was just coming to that conclusion because I was looking at like your subscribers for the most part. I think the most you've ever been at probably like maybe 80,000, and I was just trying to do it like this quick math, like 80,000 out of America's population, 280 million people roughly. That's like what 1.5%. So and then you got 50 people that own 99% of the wealth. So maybe we are at our maximum is what I'm saying as far as the knowledge being out there, because Zach, people just they don't either care about it or they're not intellectually in tune enough to get it and put two and two together. Because I was just watching a random show on World Star Hip Hop called Questions. A guy goes through random cities and asks very easy riddles or very easy questions. For instance, he was in Chicago asking people what's the capital of Chicago, and it was so many people that just were lost or saying the wrong answers, and the whole time there's no capital in Chicago, but he's asking grown adults these simple questions. And that was just, it was like coming across my mind, like, man, maybe we're just at our maximum because the population just, I don't know, the intellectual level is just dropping year by year. So I don't know, that's all I really had. So maybe we just need to focus in on who we have now and like just try to go forward from there. Like, I see we are getting new callers here and there, but as far as like a huge surge of just like new followers, I mean, because I've been following for like since 2017, and it seems like it's building up, but not like how it should. And I think that's just because of the population we live in, man, honestly.
Well, there's a lot that's right about what you're saying. I'd remind, though, I mean, part of the thing is YouTube does manipulate numbers. Look at all the people that are saying every day that they got unsubscribed. Think about all the people that are subscribed to like 100 channels. Imagine if they find my video and think it's real interesting and they watch 2, and then they get unsubscribed, and then every day their feed's full of the other 100 people that are producing videos. They could easily just even forget that they found my work. I mean, it's the United States of amnesia. This is what they're doing. So they've always kept my number down. They've always unsubscribed people. It's gone on since 2014. So, and again, the fact that the channel's been deleted 19 times, I imagine the number would be a lot bigger if it hadn't been deleted so many times, if so many people weren't constantly unsubscribed. Plus, we don't even know if they're hiding the number. But you're still right, because the point still stands. Even if, say, there was 1 million people here and they were hiding the number, well, I know how many people went out and bought the book, about 10,000. That's jack shit. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I am saying that's why the group of people that are here right now, the 40,000 people that are shown as subscribers, let's all pledge $1. Let's hire people. Let's see if we can, have a network, take it to the next level. Just like how there's this Epic Times. I'm sure you've seen the Epic Times advertised on a YouTube video. Have you seen that?
Yep.
What if instead we're paying YouTube to advertise Gematria Effect News, and we got a studio and a publication and a real thing going on? I guarantee way more people are going to find out about Gematria Effect News. We could do that if everybody pledged $1. That's why I'm saying if everyone pledges $1, we can get to the next level.
Yeah, I'm still at $5 a month on my Patreon, and I bought the book twice. I mean, I do decodes, I do groundwork as far as in my city in Omaha, like try to spread the truth. I mean, I pretty much run into the same roadblock every time, but I don't know, it's just something, I don't know, I keep my hopes up, and I keep trying to spread information, especially the people who kind of are receptive to it. But yeah, I know what you mean, man, because if you did get $1 from everybody, like, just like right now in the chat, I mean, it would do a great call, it would do great for the cause. But yeah, I'll pledge it out, man. So yeah, whatever you ask for, I always try to send in whatever you ask for. I've been Patreon member since 2018, call in all the time. So yeah, man, I'm trying to do. I think we're on the right path. It's just, the ground. 6 years is a long. 7 years is definitely a long time for one person to be doing something. But I mean, compared to how long it's been under manipulation with this card, I mean, we're just really at the beginning. So I know we just gotta stay consistent. That's all, Zach. But just know that the word is definitely getting out there to people who are important and who are definitely trying to get the truth out there for sure.
Well, I appreciate it, man, and I'm grateful that you've always been a supporter. And you saying how you bought 2 books, that's the other thing that kills me. I don't even think 10,000 people bought the book, man, because there's a dude who buys a copy of the book every week when he gets paid. There's several people who said they bought the book multiple times to help out, so I sadly think it might be like a number of like the actual amount of people who bought the book. It might have been like 2,500, and some people just bought a bunch of copies.
Right, yep.
And that kills me, man.
I bought it twice for sure, yep.
It kills me. And then everyone says, well, I get it, but I don't read it. It's like, well, get the fucking book to help support the movement, man. God.
Right, it is 800 pages, but I mean, I read it. So, I mean, I bought it a few years ago, but I still got through it and read it. So, I mean, it makes you understand the code even more. I mean, because you can sit up here and understand the videos, they're simple, but if you read the book, it'll also give you more access to other information, because like I said, there's some pieces in the book that point to history that I didn't even know about or that I forgot about, from high school and college or whatever. But definitely read the book. That's what I do. And I mean, as far as the studios goes, or like the Gematria Effect News office that you're thinking setting up. I think that's a great idea. I wouldn't mind like if we just set the community up just strictly online. I know that's kind of still putting all the eggs in one basket because, you know, electronics and things of that nature. But if we could all still work from our own perspective, like cities, and still come together like through the internet or through like Skype calling, I think that could be very effective as well.
You're right.
Rather than trying to have everybody come to Yakima. And then if we're really like effective, I mean, it won't be anything for like the powers to be to, you know, wipe everything out at one time. So I'm just trying to like think of multiple ways we could still be effective. But I would definitely go to Washington, bro, and like decode, because this is what I do, man. I mean, that Ignatius thing was just one of my hundreds of decodes since I've been, you know, since I found out about Gematria. And I mean, it's just very simple. But yeah, I think if we could start an office, but I think we could still definitely try to do a network still throughout the country as well.
Right. Indeed. Well, I don't disagree with anything you're saying. I do want a physical location where there's a core group of people. That doesn't mean that there's not great employees who are hired and paid and they work through Skype and turn it, because I want that to happen too. But I really want a physical group of people who are willing to be in one spot and work in an office, because to me there's something about being in person that you can't get when you're working through electronics. I mean, you can get close when you're on the screen talking to somebody, but it's still not the same as being in person.
Yes, it's not the same teamwork as for sure. That same family kind of bond, that's a fact. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have, man. I'm gonna keep supporting, keep on the Patreon. I keep decoding. I'm like, okay, yesterday, like today, this last few days, like the date numerologies have been like two numbers, like 10, 10, 11, 11, 12, 12, 13. Like, there's been like twin date numerologies, for instance. And I was just looking at college scores from yesterday and looking at records. A lot of people stayed at 12, or a lot of people picked up their 12th win in conference, or, you know, and then for today's 13-day numerology, the Lakers could potentially stay on 13 losses against the Bucks, you know, LA, Big 13. So it's just simple stuff like that that I definitely appreciate you for, Zach, is, you know, make me a few dollars on the side as well.
And that's exactly how it is. It's simple stuff like that. We've always pointed out about college basketball. Like, for example...
college is very simple this year, Zach. I know you haven't been doing it, but it's been prime relationship numbers that hit a lot during this college basketball season, and then it's been like date numerology. That's like, wow, this is crazy.
It's like I feel bad that I haven't been decoding, because I'm sure but I already taught people how to do it. But like a date rolls up with.
I'm not tripping, because you see, I picked up on just simple patterns like that, and I mean, I'm sure there's other patterns we don't see yet. But I mean, as far as the simple patterns go, college basketball has been, I'd say, like 7 out of 10. And it's just been surface level. Like, only thing I do with college basketball is I decode the team's full names, and I look at their all-time wins for you know, that for the coach of that year, or I'm sorry, for the coach of that team, I look at his all-time wins, and then I just go from there. I don't even like fully. It's really that's probably doing too much decoding right now, because it's been a lot of surface level stuff just hitting crazy.
It's almost always surface level. It's just like last year, we'd always point out when the days came around with the prime numbers, and like, especially on a Saturday, it's always money when it's a Saturday, because it'll be like a 37 date numerology, the 12th prime, and you'll be like, look at this, out of all the games today, like these 30 teams can pick up their 12th win today. And out of those 30 games, it's like 26 of them are gonna get the 12th win. That's how last year we had guys betting dollars on huge parlays and making, like, turn it into $200 and some dollars, just betting a single buck and winning $200 and some bucks off those Saturdays, like where things line up like that. And they come up a few times a year, college basketball. So again, you bet $1 and you made $200 and some dollars. That means that you bet $10, you would have made $2,000 and some dollars. You put $100 on it, well, now you just made 20.
Right. Yep.
So
math, exactly. Yep.
So,
but a lot of service level. I'm just waiting on a 23-9 to roll around, like teams that got 23 wins. I'm waiting to see if they pick up their ninth loss.
Because 23rd's the 9th prime, 23 the 9th prime. That's one of the exactly. That's a 23 date numerology. Everyone's going for their 9th win. Guess what number's coming through big today? Yep,
that's exactly how college did. But I appreciate all the work, Zach, and I'm gonna keep supporting, man.
For people who weren't here from the beginning, the way I figured out prime numbers were important was actually through college basketball. It was college basketball. So
I think that's funny too. Like, prime numbers is, I think that's funny how you figure that out. And then, I watch little cartoons like Optimus Prime. He's the strongest Transformer. He's Prime. Like, yeah, so, yeah, man, it's just different little things like that I always go back to Gematria. I'm like, yeah, if it wasn't for Gematria, I would have never seen through this facade. So, appreciate it, man.
All right, man. Take care.
You too, man.
All right, that's it. You see how the word prime is 61 with the alphabetic order? Roger Maris hit 61 home runs in 1961. 61's the 18th prime. Baseball equals 18. Caller?
Hey, what's up, Zach?
What's up, man?
I got 2 points I want to make to you. I got to do something quick, like, somebody called last night on the radio.
You cut out. Somebody called last night on the radio. What happened? Shit, he disconnected. All right, let me take this call. What's up, Ron?
What's going on, Zach?
What's up, man?
Yeah, I'm listening to you. So now, I know you're trying to get that movement off, but I was recommending, I'm going to send you a nice little tip, too.
No, you're not. You're not going to send me any tip, Rod. You're going to keep your money. You've already sent enough tips. Everybody, this is Rod. Rod's one of the people I've passed the torches on to for daily decodes. He's been super generous. He doesn't need to send me any more tips. But Rod's the one who's doing the daily decodes along with Victor right now. And everything I'm hearing about Rod and Victor, they're killing it. So keep it up, Rod. What else is up, man?
But what I'm saying is that you got a prime time opportunity to do something. So, okay, right now you got 1,000 people watching your show, but you probably only got like 25 to 100 people that's actually serious about this, like me, like what I'm doing. So it's like, if we just step up, if the people that's really step up, that call you every day, that's always got these decodes, if we can at least send 25 and 50 to make up for the people who's not spending $1, maybe they can further this movement. That's why I call. You know what I mean? Because I don't mind doing that. I can pay for 50 people. Somebody else that's strong can pay for 50 people. And before you know it, you'll have your, we can take this thing to another level, starting like next month, if everybody can get on the ship.
Well, I'll tell you what, that building's for lease right now. It's not going to be for lease much longer. That's why I almost just want to say, you know what, you guys, I'm not going to...
That's what I'm saying. Like, you got enough people in the community that's been around longer that can at least contribute 100. You know what I mean? That's not a lot of money, Zach. It is, but to the people that's been here, that's been winning off your money, that's been, you know what I mean? We done hit golf tournaments. Come on, Zach. People got 50 to 100 that make up for it. That's all I'm saying. So if you can get like, I can start off with one, me, Victor, the people that I know the golf, he calls in a lot. I mean, they just take a stab, and just like you booked your trip for New Orleans, you put it out there. But if all I'm saying is the people that been around a long time, the 3-4 years, if we can just come together and put up like 50 to 100, maybe we can take this thing to another level starting next month. Because it's right here, it's in our face. So why let this opportunity get away when we can, because I'm committed. So if our people hearing this, the people that's been around for a long time, maybe if y'all can put up at least $100. If we got 50 to 100 people that's been here for 3-4 years, we can wipe off the dollars, and pay, because people just want the free content. It's about the masses of the people, Zach. People ain't gonna never get it, Zach. So it's like, it's up to the people that already got 10 toes down to step up even more. Because the people just gonna want to keep listening. People using this Gematria now for entertainment now. People just want to hear it sounds good, and then they see stuff coming to fruition. But people not really serious about furthering the movement. That's all I'm trying to tell you, Zach. So I feel like by me being with you for the last 3, 4, 5 years, I feel like I'm obligated to at least be able to spend, because you got a mission. It ain't like you got a vision. So it's like, I don't mind stepping in, giving what I can, but I need for the people that's been in the community, for the last 3-4 years, along with me, to step up too. If we can get 20, 30 people to step up, to pick their big boy shoes on and help you out and further this movement. Because once we get it started, Zach, who knows where it can go. You know what I mean?
That's the whole point. I know it can go a lot further. And, again, because of people like you. I mean, Rod, you've only been here for a little more than a year, right?
No, I've been Zach. I was told you when I've been told you that when Villanova beat North Carolina on a game-winning shot, I was telling you about they putting magnets in the ball, and you responded to my comments. That's how I know you was a real one. You feel me? I was like, man, it's got to be magnets in the ball. But man, I've been on you, since RFG, since you was beefing with RFG. I've been with you, but you only been doing Patreon. I just signed up with Patreon.
That's why I thought you'd only been okay. I didn't realize. Okay, the whole time I've been thinking you came around the time of Super Bowl 53. Okay, you've been around the whole time. Got it.
Yeah, I've been.
No wonder you're so good at it. Okay, Rod. All right. I mean, you are really good at it, but I was like, damn, he got really good in a year. Okay, you've been around for a minute. Not to take anything away from it, but okay. So, all right.
I just feel like the time is the time. Like I said, if you got this vision, man, if the people that's been here for a moment, man, that we can just take, $50 to $100. When you get that type of commitment and donations, you don't need a lot of people.
This is true.
Everybody come in $1, but you can say that all day, Zach, and still, you can say everybody put a quarter up, and you would be surprised. Nobody will
right.
put a quarter up. So it's just crazy. So it's like the people that's really committed, that call you every day, you got at least 50 people that you can write down. I know that you like, okay, I know he's serious. I know he's been making money. He done called me. Okay, you know what I mean? And we should all come together. Even you can call us. I know you got our number. You can call us. Hey, Rod, came up with a great idea. I know you've been with this community. I see this building. Can you put up 50 to 100? That you know what I mean? So that'll take care of that dollar for everybody a month and see where it goes from there. Because I don't mind that 50 to 100 for a whole month. That you've been doing this for a long time, and you got a vision. Then that you see something that you want to go after, it's right that we help you get it and help you get it quick. And like you say, this opportunity might not last forever. So we need to try to take advantage of this opportunity. And that's the only thing I keep thinking of. It's like the people that's been here, well, let's step up a little bit harder for the people that's just sitting on the sideline listening to the free content.
Well, you're absolutely right. I really appreciate it, Rod. And what you're saying is all true. It's just, I keep going back to the fact, if I knew that 30,000 people had $1 pledge, I'd be like, look at that. There's an army behind us. We're going somewhere. So what you're saying is still the same. We need to get it done. We need to get it financed. We need to have a team of people. So I'm fine doing it that way. But I still don't know what's wrong with these 30,000 people that can't pledge $1, because that's killing me. So,
right. It's just free content. It's the masses of the people. That's how they move. Everybody wants free shit, Zach. It's all about free shit. Everybody want handouts.
$1 is almost free. $1 is so close to free. So, but I hear you. You're right. You're right. So, but you're right, man. So, I mean, if people are out there who want to, this is always what happens, Rod. It's just like when I went down to New Orleans. I asked for a bunch of people to donate $1 or $5. Man, the whole trip was almost paid for by less than 10 people. So, I mean, that's the way it is.
People might be thinking about the dollar, looking at it like $1 is a joke. People might think $1 might not add up. They might not see your vision. So that way I'll say you might take it another direction. Where the people that's in here, the people that actually can see themselves working in the building, who actually want to further the movement, you know what I mean? You say you have like 8 to 10 spaces. The people who can, you know what I mean? These are the people you need to be going after, because like I said, the people that's around the 30,000 people, they just looking for the free content, and they just looking for that. They not really, they'll contribute, so that's why I said I need to step up, and I can at least pay for 100 people for a month, but I need somebody else to hold my hand, and I need somebody else to back that person up. And then once we get like 25 to 30 people, Zach, I feel like you can accomplish this goal, what you're trying to do.
Well, you're right. I mean, if everybody did that, it would happen. But again, $100 is a lot to donate every single month. $1 is not. $1 a month is $12 in a year. That's a fast food meal. That's nothing. So, again, this building right now, you guys, it is so prime. I'm telling you, it's got 8 offices. Plus, that's the second floor. The first floor is a restaurant. And you can get the whole damn thing for $1,500 right now because of what the economy is in this town. We could turn this into something. I mean, and we could honestly have a restaurant business there too, and bring in even more resources to the community.
We slipping on this right now, man. That's what I'm saying. It's a goal, man. We slipping on it. We slipping on this right now for sure. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Like, that dollar for everybody, it's cheap and it's convenient, but maybe we might need to go about it another way to help get it. And that's why I came with that, because I feel like we can't let this gold mine pass up. I really don't.
Okay.
And I believe this is it.
I'm going to say it this way. Right now, we're up to $11,500 a month. And understand, this money does come to me, but I just save this money. I don't spend this money on shit. You guys see me doing anything? I sit here and grind every single day. This money's for the community. I use a part of it to pay for the Free to Find Truth website. I'm saving this money for the cause. So here's the deal. If people out there can help get this to 20,000, I know if there's 20,000 support there, I'll go out and the one thing I'm not telling you guys about this is I have to pay $150,000 to get the building, but then the lease isn't shit. So I will get the loan for the $150,000. I'll make that my responsibility, because if you mortgage that, it's $1,000 payment a month. It's nothing. But then we have this location, and we can keep this building. And the person who's had it, she said the landlord's never raised the lease on her in 10 years. So, and I imagine he'll stay that way, especially if the economy dips. He'll be happy just to have a tenant in there. But as long as we have a community supporting it at a low monthly rate by a group of people, we can maintain this. And during the time when people are hurting, that's when they need knowledge and truth. So I'm telling you, this building is a gold mine. Like Rod's saying, and I've seen it with my own eyes. I know it's a gold mine. But I need some support to know that I can continue to hire people and pay the monthly salary and pay the rent on the building. I can't do it any other way. So I need to see that there's support from the community, and we should be able to hit this mark. So if you guys can get the Patreon from 11,500 up to 20,000, I'll go out and take the first step. But still, my goal is 30,000 so that we can have a big enough team of people hired. But I'll take the step at 20,000 to get the loan to secure the building and put down the rent for the first year. You guys, I meet again with this person on Monday. So today's Friday. That's 3 days to act. And if people out there listening really want to see this happen, if you guys all chip in $10, there's probably enough people. Yeah, if everybody watching right now chipped in $10, we would hit the mark. We could hit it in 30 minutes if you guys all went out and did it right now. So, yeah, I appreciate it, Ron. Yeah, you're right, man.
Yeah. And I need somebody else to step up, but I'm gonna do that for you anyway. Just to put towards it, and yeah, man, just keep the pain and try to go about it in other ways. Because I feel like that's a gold mine right there, and I wouldn't mind seeing you get that.
Okay, I appreciate it, Ron. All right, keep up the good work, man.
No problem.
All right, take care.
You.
All right, see you, man.
All right.
Rod's one of the people that wants to be a full-time employee too. So I mean, and he'd be a good full-time employee. Okay, the phone's got almost no charge on it, and I need to get off. Last call, and then we're wrapping it up. What's up, Sacramento?
No way. Major crush on you, Zach. But more importantly, I run a online business, direct sales. Sales have plummeted for the last 4 years because I can't keep my head out of the truther rabbit holes. And you're my go-to. So whenever I find out something, I go over so you can check the numbers. Now, I was a $10 a month Patreon subscriber for a few months because, let me be honest, I wanted to win some bets. I can't give a flying you know what about sports anymore. I can't get into it, so I couldn't sit there while you guys are hashing it out. It was fun. The guys in the group were nice and supportive. I don't care. I just wanted to know who to bet and where to do it because I wanted to make some fast money.
That's the way we have to do it in the future is just put the picks out for people who don't want to listen to the daily discussion. Yep. But
because I have to be making content. I have to be talking to my 400 members and getting that out. But I come here. I spent 4 nights in a row. I've been painting my neighbor's house inside, and all I'm doing is playing your videos. Now, dude who called up and we were all pissed off at him. This is a classic narcissistic sociopathic. This is a lesson for everybody to know what a narcissist is. A narcissist is somebody who just regurgitates all the vomit that they've ever heard about them onto other people. So he was a soulless, but it was a great lesson for us to see and experience. We all came to your defense. I mean, I was screaming in an empty house, but we got to see that. Now, everybody that's stepping up today, I've been listening since the guy that called in about the Bible. I would love to know who he is, and if he has a channel, I'd love to follow. But I dropped you $20 last night in PayPal. Because, no, not so much that, because 20 is nothing compared to the value of the time that you save me not going down rabbit holes so that I can go figure out other stuff, because I'm deep.
Sure.
It's a big, scary world. I'm sitting in Sacramento, and all I post on my Facebook is the skies for years. And if people, I'm out and about, and nobody looks up, and I'm looking at people like,
isn't it crazy? It's crazy.
You don't look up and see what's now. Today's what, Friday? So Tuesday, Wednesday, it was nice and blue. We had it felt like 1,000-mile winds on the weekend. And I'm like, they're brewing up something. Somebody's going to have floods or fires or something. And then yesterday was stripes. Day before was stripes. Today's gray. It's all gray. Tomorrow it's going to be all gray. My dogs have weird stuff going on. I don't feel Monday I didn't feel good. But everybody you got to campaign. You got to campaign. You say it, and the losers that don't drop $1, are the ones that show up at the barbecue without bringing anything, and they eat the most food.
Exactly. That's
so
America.
You got to campaign. You got to like, maybe my suggestion, like the politicians do, because if you just say it once in a while, everybody forgets because they don't take it as urgent. And there's more people that are unplugging from the matrix. But the point is, if people learn where their money goes in sports, I've detested Nike for so many years because of child slave labor.
Right.
If people understood where they're dropping money, Pepsi, Coke, all of that what it supports, so maybe campaign that way. Start, I don't know. My point is more people need to understand what they put their money to, all the name brands, that they're branding themselves. They're going around advertising for those people who put poisons in their food or poisons in their products, or they take it offshore into foreign countries and use children in toxic manufacturing plants. And then we end up with crap shit from China. And now everybody hates on Chinese people. And I live in a Chinese-Japanese neighborhood, and it's not them. People are human. It's the ones above pulling the strings.
Right. Indeed.
So I am so thrilled to jump in and catch you live. I appreciate you. I have a mad crush on you because you're brain, because you're smart, because you're woke, because you're sitting at your desk on your rear end. Your back and your butt must be sore. Thank goodness you go to the gym. But you are doing this for humanity. And while everybody else is out, okay, they hang up from Zach and then they go and do their same crap. Majority of the ones that call in your army, and there's a lot that don't call in because, they're busy or whatever, you got an amazing army, and I'm proud to be one of them.
Well, thank you very much. And your call's right on point and everything brilliantly said. And I really like the point you just made about sponsoring these terrible companies. And I rant about that a lot too, because I say, I know you guys aren't pledging $1, but you're going out and you're supporting these evil companies. These are the exact people we're exposing. And I don't know how these people can do this. How can you guys sit here and listen to what I'm teaching you and then not pledge $1? But I just know how you guys are because I meet you in person and you guys are this way. Hey, do you mind if I stop by and need some French fries real quick? And it's like, dude, you just told me that you don't have $1 a month to pledge, but you're hungry for McDonald's French fries? Come on, man. Why am I spending my time with you right now? I just know this is who you guys are. It kills me, man. Come on.
I'm in the wellness industry, and I've got over 400 people that I speak to about wellness, and I stalk my members. I look and see what they're doing. They're either out drinking or they're putting in toxic man-made foods into their bodies, and I'm like, and you're going to complain to me about your mood and your health? Wow.
Exactly. I mean, we got to make the right choices. We are not making the right choices. We are empowering the cabal that rules over us.
That's right. That's right. And they love watching us infight. They love watching us complain and be sick. They love watching us clear off the shelves at the stores.
They do.
The money.
They do. Yeah, they got us playing in their sandbox. So.
Yep. So my number came up. Anytime I can be of help, when you get your building, I want to rent out a room so that I can have a wellness office, so that I could have a coffee cart in there making better coffee, because I had brain fog so bad from that satanic signal, that sign that's all on every coffee corner. And so I can do wellness shots for people, not with a needle, but with, like, you slam a little shot of goodness and take it in. So that would be an amazing.
Well, that'll definitely happen. That'll definitely happen. There's 8 offices in there, and I don't even know how to fill up 8 offices at first, but in time it will. So with things like that, and like I said, my whole plan, I want to create. So this town I live in, it has a health epidemic. Like almost everyone is obese here, and I just want to have a place that's like this is a huge agricultural town, so there's food everywhere. There's fresh produce everywhere. So my whole vision is to create like a juice shop, and also just have like healthy lunch and breakfast items, because it's a breakfast and lunch town. Like almost nobody goes out for dinner here. It's a working town. People get breakfast and lunch, provide healthy meals, healthy alternatives, affordable, and just do it all with local agriculture. So that restaurant could run the bottom floor, and then Gematria Effect News Studios the top. And
I want a wellness office, so I'm down.
I might just have to go do it if you guys don't even. I shouldn't say that, because I want you guys to support, but like the biggest thing that I have to do right now is, because again, the person who's holding the lease right now, they're not giving it up until somebody pays them $150,000 just for their name, because she knows that she can afford the lease. She wants somebody to pay $150,000 for her name brand, which I'm happy to keep for part of the restaurant downstairs, but I want the rest of the building, which is all vacant. So
okay, so listen, Zach. Most of the people that call in and listen and take the free gossip and the free numbers and the free advice don't believe in themselves. I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. We all have this. This is what the cabal has done to us. They don't want us to think better. If everybody understood about the 5 times 55 or vision boarding, but if you think of something, so I would blow your mind at what I've manifested. We won't go there. This week I did 5 days. Everybody get a journal. 5 days in a row. You write something that you want. You pick one thing and you write it 55 times. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. Don't sit there and manipulate and maneuver how you're going to make it happen. So I was like, okay, well, what do I want? Well, I need 20 grand right now. And I went, screw that. And I wrote, I am so appreciative for the 100,000 cash. I wrote it 55 times. And then the next day I did it again. And the next day I did it again. So it's coming. Don't doubt yourself. But if people would just simply get a journal and do something consistently with a discipline daily, things change. But when they go, oh man, I can't do it, or I don't have the dollar, nothing changes.
I know that what you're saying is true. My whole work is that, because that's exactly what happened to me in the summer of 2013. I said, I'm going to do something that puts all the critics to rest. I'm going to show that there is a conspiracy in this nation. We're being plotted against. We're being destroyed systematically. I said, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to figure out how they're operating. Because I had some ideas. I was like, there's something to numbers. I know it has to do with you-know-who's. And I found it. And I was telling myself that I was, and it didn't take that long to find it. Because for years, I looked at this, and I knew something was going on, but I couldn't connect the dots. But then in that moment, I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to connect the dots that I have not been able to connect for more than 10 years now. And it happened. So
you know why it happened?
Because I told myself it was.
People are going, ooh, Zach is magic. No, it's because you're more pure. You don't drink soda. You don't drink GMO. You don't eat GMO mac and cheese, that kind of stuff. You're more pure. And when the body's more pure, you can think better and you can tap into your higher
and you have better energy and everything. Condition. Exactly.
When you're polluted with drugs and soda and popcorn, you can't think right.
Exactly. Just like people take better care of their cars than they do themselves. We need to start thinking about how our body's just like our car. You put crap in your car's going to die. You put crap in you.
Exactly. Cause and effect.
Yeah.
Cause and effect. I appreciate you so much more than you know, and so do your callers. If we all were able to call in, you would, and it's not that we just want to gush all over you. We feel for you. When trolls, but we all have it. New level, new devil, brother.
Right. You're absolutely right. So I really appreciate it. You were a great last call.
Thank you.
All right. You take care.
You too. Bye, Zach.
Right, have a good day. Yeah. It's funny I'm getting off at 122. That's the number we started with, isn't it? Anyway, you guys, this has to happen. We need to raise the resources as a community. We need to hire people. There needs to be a Gematria Effect news studio. I'm telling you, $1,500 a month for this building. This building has 6,000 square feet in it. And it already has a kitchen. It's got a restaurant space. Plus, it just has this huge office. And it's nice up there, too. Realize, Yakima, today we got the chemical haze. We get the chemtrails here, too. But Washington, this is the high desert here. It's sunny over 300 days a year. Again, there's food everywhere. This is not a bad place to be. If they are going to give us a big fallout, this isn't a bad place to be. There's water source here. There's food everywhere. So, anyway, if we can hit this goal, we have a building, we'll hire people. You'll all see it happen very fast. It will happen very fast. And there's already people who are willing to relocate here. I already know who those people are. It's just a matter of getting the resources to make it happen. It needs to happen. The time is now. It's not tomorrow. It's not next month. It's now. I've been saying it's now for over 5 years, you guys. Time is now. So, let me take one last call because you got cut off earlier. This will really be the last call. Dude, there's only like a % charge left, so you got to be quick.
Hey, what's up? You can hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, but the phone's almost dead. So, last thoughts. Close us out, man.
But last time I got cut off. I'll make it quick. Somebody called to the radio show last night talking about Pop Smoke video for Christopher Walken with the 2 helicopters at the beginning. Then at the 2:28 mark, the helicopter crashed.
Right.
You remember that?
Right.
Isn't it crazy that Kobe was his favorite player, and he put out that video like a couple of days before Kobe died, and he had the 2 helicopters at the beginning, then it crashed at that point in the video, and the helicopter had nothing to do with the video.
And again, he died 24 days after Kobe. Kobe number 24. He died on the date with 41 numerology. It's all a ritual. Yeah, absolutely.
And this is my last point. I know why the All-Star game was in Chicago this year.
I'm listening.
If you turn the Bulls logo upside down, have you seen that before? If you turn the Bulls logo upside down, you see what you get?
Remind me, what is it?
Hello?
Yeah, what is it? What's it look like upside down?
It looked like a crab. Oh no, a robot fucking a crab, or somebody getting fucked in the ass if you turn the Bulls logo upside down.
Huh. All right, I'll take a look at that.
So I take it because that Bulls logo represents Jordan. That's when I think about that Bulls logo. So all this time that Bulls logo got a secret code in it. Like that's why Jordan was the best player for the Bulls. If you turn that Bulls, I'm not looking at the video right now. Have you seen the Bulls logo upside down? You see it?
Here, I'll see if I can do a search real quick. Bulls logo upside down. Let me see what pops up. Okay. I see how it looks like a robot. Oh, I see what you're saying. It almost looks like he's reading a book, too. Okay, I'll have to look at it more and think about it. Yeah, it's interesting. I never heard this one before.
All right, so I just wanted to make those 2 points about the Pop Smoke Christopher Walken video and the Bulls logo. And why the All-Star game was in Chicago this year after Kobe died, and they celebrated Kobe in Chicago. And plus, he got the helicopter from the state of Illinois. So I think all that's connected.
All right, appreciate it, man. Good observations. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, Zach.
Take care, man. See you.
All right.
And we know the whole thing was synced up with Jordan, too. Jordan, Chicago. All right, you guys, we'll leave it there. Thank you to the 3 more people in the last few minutes who pledged. Again, thank you everyone who's pledged in recent days. If we can hit this goal, I'll be showing you. I'll be saying, all right, this is the new Gematria Fake News Studios. We're going to be operating up here. We're going to have the healthy restaurant down here. We're going to bring in more resources to the community. We're going to help this town get healthy and fit. Because, again, I mean, it's really about you got to be the complete package. You can't just be everything up here in knowledge. You got to take care of your body, too. You know, all you guys who are amazed at what I've done for the last going on 7 years, I wouldn't be able to do it if I wasn't healthy. You know? Again, you eat right, you got way more energy. Stay healthy. You know? It takes energy to do this, so. All right. I said last. All right, seriously, last call right here. Last one. What's up, caller?
What is that?
Just beware, this phone's going to die any second, so shoot, man, you got the floor.
No, man. I just wanted to call about the basically what you were saying about the people being
Shoot, he disconnected. Yeah, you guys, the phone's gonna die at any second, so we'll leave it there. And again, appreciate all of you guys. If you can help us get this goal. Again, that place is only going to be available for so long, and it's not to say that in the future another great place couldn't come up, but I'm telling you, this is the spot. This would be just an amazing value. So I'm not asking you guys to cover the $150,000. I'll go get a loan because I can qualify for a loan to cover that because I don't have a mortgage on a house and I don't have a monthly payment. I can afford to take care of the rent to get the. Because again, that's the one thing. The person who's holding the property that wants to rent it out for $1,500, they want somebody to make that $150,000 investment to take the name with it. So we can continue with that name with the restaurant. That's fine. It has a nice big sign, so might as well. It's facing out towards the busiest street, but that's just the only real obstacle. Otherwise, I'd probably already do it. But I got to make sure that there's people behind us to continue to pay employees and pay the monthly rent. I know I can handle the mortgage for the $150,000 buyout. That's the one big obstacle. So we'll leave it there, you guys. Until next time.